Welcome to Tuesday night, everybody. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Tim Strachan.
What's going on? You know, life's so much nicer when we just play well.
He's Kevin Ricca.
And that whiskey tastes sweeter after one of them W's.
It does. It does. Cheers to everybody. I'm Ken Marangolo, and this is, thank God, it's Tuesday in the year 1 AD. Were we muted in the beginning? We're just asking because we have no idea. When the screen was black, if you heard us talking, then I did not have us muted. And you heard
What was the surprise?
Yes, there was a surprise. There was a surprise.
It was a surprise whispered.
We're going to talk about some things, but first I want to say what's up to all the folks on the board in no particular order because this is how they got here. Ken Harris, Greg Martin, Robert Cohen, E.O. Anderson. We got J-Dubs. I know NES Tecmo is going to be in the house because he was commenting all week about it. We got some McNamara news. We will be at McNamara on Saturday. Ken Harris, since you were first to comment tonight, Kevin T and I will be there for the game McNamara against Gonzaga with for certain playoff implications for both schools, which will be fun. And so we look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully, NES Tecmo, if you can get there, that'd be great. That's a Saturday situation. Sunday situation is improving for the Washington football fan base as after 3 straight losses. We went on the road, took on a team from a coach who went to high school right down the street, made some questionable decisions.
With the facial hair.
With the mustache. There's a lot of mustaches on that sidelines. I love it. I'm definitely, that's
No
my favorite
offense,
thing.
but he's got one of those faces where it works.
I can't possibly think anything looks more hideous. And I knew Ken Marangolo would definitely put a coin down the coin slot and take a ride on it. And I knew that we were going to talk about it.
He's got
tonight.
the least, I mean, there's other mustaches on the coaching staff that are 10 times as good as he is.
It's the Ted Lasso effect.
I guess.
I hate how it looks on television. I want to punch it.
I'm definitely not ready for everyone to just start rocking mustaches. I think mustaches are great when like they're sporadically, sprinkled in society. I don't think we need to just take a time machine back to station wagon time.
Let me just say, I don't want to. I actually coached against Arthur Smith at the high school level. He played against my little brother. I was the offensive coordinator for the St. John's Cadets. He was an O lineman, D lineman for the Georgetown Prep Little Hoyas. And
You're old.
I know. I coached the guy that coached against the commander. I coached against the guy that coached against the commanders.
Who's the real coach?
So obviously, it's nothing personal.
No.
He was very nice to us with the 2-point conversions and all, and I don't want to be a jerk.
So, I mean, at all levels of football, for us all the way down to high school and for all of us watching Redskins, the coaching decision around the 2-point conversions are just, I think T, you and I talked about it.
It's happening a lot. It's happening at every level.
The sheet gives you this number, but it's based on 1 billion years of history or something. It has almost no bearing on what's happening in that exact moment between two teams that you're watching with your own eyes. You're seeing a scoreboard with your own eyes. You're understanding what's going on with your own brain in that very moment. You just say, over the course of all time.
Eve went for 2? Is that what you're saying?
Eve went for 2.
Jesus.
So I don't know.
And she didn't make it.
I don't know.
Didn't make it.
I no comment.
So, I don't know. In a former coaching era, obviously it's a whole new ballgame with these. And then you got the aggressiveness of the coaches. And I like the variety. I'll give the NFL that. But if I'm an Atlanta Falcon fan, I'm thinking I might have to throw my television in this moment.
How about as a fan, it's weird because we all had a sense of, at least I did, I'm sure you guys did as well, a confidence that we couldn't lose in the regular time.
That's right.
The 8 points where you're like, oh, we can't lose, we can't. But if they had achieved the 2-point conversion, as a fan, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
All they had to do is kick an extra point, and they got us right by the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the risk reward of it all, and it's true. You got to anticipate your team's going to get it once out or twice, I guess, is the thought. And if you have confidence in your offense, and because all these lists, do they know that the quarterbacks, mom was sick, or the receivers got strep throat, or someone's nursing a bad back? Like when the chart tells you something, it really freaks me out.
In that moment.
Yes. He understands his team, and that's why he went and did it at home, and he's trying to get the W, and I get that. So I'm not giving him any crap. That is the analytics.
But it's his MO, too.
Yeah, I get it.
He has an MO for that.
Yeah.
And no offense to you two, but I think he's smarter than all 3 of us combined.
Certainly a smart guy.
Yeah, I give him that.
Mandatory is for a reason.
Yeah. So,
but he's totally comfortable
football-wise, because we got him in other areas. Trust me. God gives out talents all willy-nilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. And he's been super comfortable in 1 and 2 point games, and he's fought like hell to put himself into 1 and 2 point games all season. His differential on the season is 21, but if you figure, almost over a third of that was just from this week alone. He's actually it's actually impressive. He's managed games to the last possession. What's that?
21 after 6 games.
20 after 6 games, but like we just put 8 of those on him. So he knows what he has. It's a no-name defense that plays pretty darn well. They run the ball like we talked about. We were talking about high school football before the show. They show up to run. That's what they came to do. They got 4 people who can do it, and they're going to do it all day.
No, he's a very bright guy. He rose through this league in no time whatsoever. If he had Griff down there to tell him, he might have gotten a little more help, but that's no longer the case. He's with the Terps, and you know what? Football is a crazy thing. Oh. If he went ahead and got the 2, and they went ahead and didn't throw another pick, and 1 by 1, he's a genius, and everyone's going, "Oh yeah, oh my Lord." This guy, did you see what he did to the Commanders? And he went for 2, and then it's a new thing. But until there's some success in this scenario, which I think there has been,
of course,
a tad bit of it in the last 2 years. But yes, until there's some more another billion years of data to resource, people are people are freaking out. There's people that don't follow it quite the way the people on the board and we do that don't realize that this isn't going on and it isn't a thing. And I was amongst a million of them. You just kind of look straight and you're like. It's kind of like when he was run the ball, throw the ball.
2, you're like, this is real.
Yeah,
like this is.
Well, then you get nervous. You're like, damn, this is huge. This is double.
Yeah,
it's important.
And these sheets. They talk about the sheets. That's what they are. They're sheets that with numbers on them, and they say what you do. Like the reason why we can say all we want about it, but ultimately the game's not going to double or question Arthur Smith is because. They do follow these sheets. They're not just following it in that one situation. It's like if you're down 8 with 9.5 minutes to go, if you're down 11 with 27 minutes to go, they're all laid out to exactly what you do based on this system, and they're following it to a T. So this decision is in line with all of those other decisions, and it is. For the better teams, you could argue it's impacting, the final score. Yeah. This could have impacted the final score, and actually, and it did, for us.
There's going to be a hell of a lot more of it moving forward. We're going to see a ton of it. This is a thing, and I just don't understand. The flow of the game should change it a tad, but I don't think it should be Bible. I mean, look, some sheets just have terrible things on them, like others have brilliance. It's terrible looking.
I can't unsee. What I just saw.
I know. I just drew it like 10 seconds ago, too. It's amazing.
Awesome everywhere.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I haven't done the stick figure attached to it yet.
Okay.
You got it.
But we're hoping for that. If you, speaking of, hear or see anything you like on the show tonight, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It doesn't kill you. It's just a click away.
Kev can show you what he just drew.
Yeah. That's totally for overtime. That's an overtime.
Totally my sheet.
It's going to be like Sean Payton's. If you lift that thing up at all, at any point during the show, Greg or EO or someone's going to be like, screenshot. And it's going to be like, this is Kevin's call sheet.
Well, Sean Payton's call sheet has that little hole in it. He sticks his tongue out of it. It's so gross. It's a terrible looking play sheet.
The old popcorn bin trick. Translated to a play sheet. Also, if you haven't done it already, please subscribe. It's also free, and you'll get a notification of when we're live here in the basement, and also during the school year where we are on any given night for football or basketball or lacrosse or soccer, field hockey, or God knows what we're going to be up to for the next 6 months. You know what? We did do wrestling, but we didn't call it. We sent someone there, and they filmed it all, and I thought to myself, what would it look like?
Three dudes that have never wrestled before.
First of all, I wrestled at McNamara Varsity Wrestling for 1 year. I was the worst wrestling ever. Yes, it's a terrible story. I'll tell you about it.
What sport did you not play at McNamara?
All I'm saying is
badminton.
I was a terrible wrestler.
Team?
I would have been a great badminton player. I wish they had a team. But a wrestling meet is like if the 3 of us showed up on the side and we're like, all right, we're gonna. It would be hilarious. / there was 0%. I didn't entertain it for a second.
Especially if we all went in uniform, that'd be the only way I would do it.
Although that was a given.
DeMatha used to host them.
Well, I mean,
DeMatha hosted the WMAC tournament. When I was a sophomore, and it's great. You pull up to, you get in Hyattsville super early in the morning. It's a great day of WCAC. But anyways, subscribe. So here's what I thought. Here's how I thought we would lead off. This is let's go in reverse.
If we get 10 subscribers tonight, Kevin just texted me. He will wear a wrestling uniform next week.
I love it. I love how Kevin belongs in a wrestling
10 subscribers. Let's go.
Singlet, as we like to
I
call
don't know
it.
who's going to want it back because I have to borrow one. Because shockingly, I don't have one.
Here's what I have to say about this.
Go right ahead, sir.
They doubled us up in first downs. We were terrible on third down. They had 60% more total plays. They more than doubled our total yards. Even though we had an extra drive, we were more penalized, and we had
Wait a minute. Did we win?
a 13-minute time of possession disadvantage. This is not the sheet that you then turn around and hoist whiskeys to, and yet that's exactly what we're doing.
Are you sure that was this year's game?
It was this year's game.
Okay.
That was right away. So anyways, again, this is the way, football can look sometimes. There's a story in there, obviously, and it involves, it involves Sam Howell getting just decked another 5 times. Let's go over to that one.
We're at the number 34, gentlemen. We're at
On pace
number
for?
34.
On pace for 96 sacks.
34 sacks.
On pace for 96.
How is that
Sorry.
it? Yeah.
Is on pace for 96, which would be a record by.
A record's
The record is
3-3, correct?
No. I'm sorry. For sacks, so he's on pace to be sacked 96 times. That would beat the record. I'm asking you if you know how much it would beat the record by, of all time guys getting sacked in 1 year.
I don't carry my sack facts with me.
I only remember this because it was 20. David Carr was sacked 76 times as a rookie and he was literally beaten out of the league.
Good God.
So 96 is a lot. 96 is a lot. When you think of no one's ever been sacked more than 76 times, we're going to cruise past that in like week 15. So that's got to change. That'd be
good. That'd be good.
So Sam Howell's stat sheet for the first time, you kind of like 14 for 23, 151, but 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's the huge takeaway. And then once again, a 5 in sack column.
And just to be honest, leave that up there as we look at it. That is not. Listen, we go up 24-10 with 12:03 left in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
We proceeded to run 16 plays for 31 yards for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We threw the ball 4 times. We were 1 for 4 for 18 yards. We shut it down. I know preseason the defense was the best part of our everything. We needed to believe in it and blah, 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 and let them finish it off up 14. I think we have to continue to run our offense before we start playing any type of let the defense win this shit. Like 16 plays, 31 yards. We threw it 4 more times. We had 1 more completion in the final 27 minutes of that football game. Let's not sit back on our heels and let our shaky-ass defense try and win it when we're on a losing streak of 3. Let's go out there and let Sam Howell
run out the clock.
B-Rob was a dude that and I get it, but Atlanta's defense is tough, Ken. And are you going to keep taking stuff off or what's happening?
There you go. And there, again, Chris Rodriguez, those 4 carries were meaningful. Brian Robinson for 31 yards just does not blow T's skirt up. And the, AG with 15 yards. Sam Howell carried it 4 times. That's like the telling one. Not the 3 yards, but that he carried it 4 times. I mean, that just means that's 4 more plays besides the 5 sacks that he got, tackled, and not including the hits. So, I mean,
I'm really starting to wonder, did we really win this game?
I think this is we're just treating this honestly. So here's the thing that, unless anyone wants to talk about the running back stuff more.
No, I'm good. I think you said plenty.
Yeah. Let's go to the wide receiver stat because this is what there's one number on here that jumps out as the way it should be. It's got to be. You see it
targets
right
11 to Terry McLaurin, 6 for 81. That's the most on the year. But it can still get higher. It can still get higher, and it needs to get higher.
And Kevin's got a point with the chart. He's got an ascending chart. He went 6 to midnight.
Are you still drawing over there?
We're branding.
At least
we're working on the branding.
we're ascending in that picture.
Yes, exactly.
Ascending.
Aww.
Don't
11 targets for Terry McLaurin. But the problem is, really, if you think about it, we're all excited about it, and we are. Kevin's very excited about it. But
sometimes until he turns it around, then he's not.
What did he have? Like 4 in the first 5 plays? Like, I mean, it was everything was front-loaded about our whole
out
half.
of the gate. We did the same thing against Philadelphia at home. Let's get out. Let's set the tone. Let's get the ball in the right guy's hands. He's going to make plays right away. If you need a quick jump start, get it in his hands. He's going to produce. You know that. I don't mind that. We come out and hand the ball off twice, and it's 3rd and 7, and then there's an incomplete pass. I can't stand it. So come out the gates. I like throwing early on downs, early in the game.
Yep.
And we got a guy that's pretty cool and collected, and I think we got one of those. I mean,
I do too.
He's unflappable pre and post game and interview. You just see his personality, and it shows in the way he plays football. He's not hurried by anything, and I know everyone's going to jump on that because he does have a tendency to hold on to the ball too long. But I think Carson Wentz hurt a lot of fans in this area because now everyone's an expert on how long to hang on to the ball for. And I'm telling you, yes, he's got a little learning curve to go through. But like we talked about. You know how good he was in the red zone? 3 touchdown passes this week. We talked about third downs. We started the game off the first drive with 2 third and 9 plays made by this dude.
Yep.
He has come from early in the season to a huge place now in both of those categories, and I see no reason why this ball holding thing would not go away quicker than later.
Here you go. Let's see. We'll go back to this. I got this for you. So we're going to pull the wide receiver stats off, and let me put this up because – here you go. This is the league. Oops. Let's get the wide receiver stats off. Let's get the running back stats off. So it's a little small. I apologize for that, Kevin.
What the fuck?
So Sam Howell, obviously, 34 sacks for 215 yards. That's rough. Daniel Jones. But the thing about this list, look at this list. Number 2, Daniel Jones, hurt, out. Number 3, Justin Fields, hurt, out. Number 4, Desmond Ridder. I mean, he's a young guy. He's getting battered around. Number 5, Ryan Tannehill.
His feel bad's hurt.
Russell Wilson.
So this is just the bottom half.
This is quarterbacks by how many times have been sacked so far. So Sam Howell's number 1.
Sacked.
The most sacked on the right side. That's where I mean, you look at Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he can handle it. Derek Carr hurt, out. Trevor Lawrence was last week hurt, out. Matthew Stafford, obviously pretty old guy. The rest of those guys, Joe Burrow's obviously taking some hits. Jalen Hurts is invincible. And then you got the rest of the league. But, I mean, listen.
We all just took your word for it. God bless your eye visions.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
I can read that.
But, you're looking at...
God bless both of you.
3 of the top 5 sacked quarterbacks in this league are currently injured. So this is something we got to fix. So I'll put it to you guys first and foremost. Is our offensive line that bad? Or are we not... Is it a... Or is it something else? It's because it's not the ball holding. Everyone loves the ball holding. Everyone loves talking about the ball holding. But let's just say for a second that it's not ball holding isn't like the top thing that's getting him killed. What is it?
So let me just say this real quick, and it's going to be a combination. I believe our answer is going to be a combo of everything. But the ball holding that they're talking about in this, and sometimes that O-line does a good job and he hangs on too long. But I've noticed in this past week, sometimes he barely gets that ball in his hand and he's feeling that pressure and he's trying to hang in there for that 1 second to even make a read. So it's on both sides. And we all know damn well we don't have the personnel that matches up against most at the offensive line position in the NFL. But we've done a good job of getting that group to play together as a unit from where they are.
And we're missing our left tackle.
And on game day but I will say Cornelius Lucas, Big Luke is what Howell said they called him. Wow, did that guy... we've been so fortunate to have that guy as our swing for the last 3 years. He's a mountain of a man. He's a monster. You see him getting downhill on that B. Robinson touchdown catch. Do you see him running down the field like he's been playing for 3 years? That's one of the times you have to say, hey, way to go, front office, to keep that guy coming back. Because when something like this happens and you don't have someone like that, we all saw what happened in the Giants game.
Oh, off the couch? Yeah, and we talked about the choreography. T loves to talk about the choreography of the offensive line. It's his thing, but it's true. He's right. It's all about. It's all they get better as they can stay healthy and they can play together week to week. You should see a little bit of something gel. Getting Charles Leno back would be big, but I mean,
look, this is not personal. This is not personal. They're all good guys. I'm sure they're all good fathers.
Are you about to say something mean?
Husbands and
oh wow,
they're just not good enough.
Okay,
I mean that what you just showed is the bottom half of the league. There's another half of the league that's not getting hit that much or sacked that much, and they're good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about them, but they're not good, and they could be as choreographed as they can. I just don't think that they are a top half of the league good enough line.
They're so
Period.
sacky right now.
They're bottom half of the line, but they're the worst. They're
Is
the
he
worst
holding
in
the
terms
ball
of
too
getting
long?
sacks.
Yes, he's holding the ball too long.
Yeah.
But he's only played 7 games in his
And
career.
he also drops back more than anybody in the league.
And
He's also
a lot
tough
of times
as
he's
shit.
trying
And
to
he's
make
also
a
tough
play.
as shit.
A lot of times it's because he's trying to make a play. He steps up in the pocket and he can't get out, and then he tries to escape and he can't. You know, that some of that stuff he's going to work out either athletically or he's going to learn to throw the ball away. It's only going to be 1 out of the 5 times he's getting sacked a game.
I would like to not have the collapsible pocket anymore. It would be nice.
collapsible, the
Some of
foldable?
Yes. That you can
It's
put
like
back. You can put it back in the SUV and just go to the soccer game afterwards. Just let's have a team. We remember Mark Rippon standing there for an entire season, and I know that's a different time, but that's how we were raised.
Yeah.
So this is hard for a lot of people our age to notice. But that pocket, man, it shrinks so quickly.
It was shrinkage.
It's tough. It's tough. So yes, and I agree with T with everything, and we're on the same page here. A month from now, hopefully, we're not talking about so much ball holding.
I mean, or just not like that. How about that?
Yeah.
It sucks because
Holding on the balls leads to nothing good. That's all we. I mean, I think we've learned that already.
I've never thought that, but I can see where you're coming from.
Really,
I'm just saying.
Hold up.
Contact. It's a contact sport, T. You want to generate that contact. The offensive line are going to be disastrous if they can't put anything together. But on the other side, it almost feels like we have the perfect guy who can get beat up a little bit because I haven't seen him wince. I mean, not going everything. I haven't seen him wince or flinch one single time this season. You saw Josh Allen, you see all these big tough guys and they're like, oh, and they're doing, I mean,
he's gotten up with a little bit of a lip or a gimp,
don't know.
and then he kind of shakes
His
it off.
facial
and then it becomes
expression
nothing.
does not
No, it's
change.
it's poker
at all.
face.
It doesn't change at all.
He is.
It doesn't change on the field.
I love it.
On the bench.
I
on
love
his
it.
way
It's noticeable.
home.
It's
It's
noticeable.
very noticeable,
in an interview.
especially from someone who can't maintain that facial expression for longer than 10 seconds at one time.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me, and I love watching him. I'm so proud of him. Seems like so focused.
So, all right. So again, in the segment titled "We're not smarter than any NFL coaches, and we're not trying to reinvent anything." My question then becomes, can you scheme around a bad offensive line? Can Eric Bieniemy ran plays when we didn't always get the all 22 camera on Sunday, but we did get it a couple times, and there were times when. Perfect examples when the pocket was collapsing and he was looking downfield and he saw the back of helmets of all of our wide receivers. And that's got to be the worst feeling for Sam Howell when he knows he's about to get hit by a 350-pound guy and he's like, I just want to throw it to somebody, and all he sees is back of helmets. And you're like, and I'm thinking to myself, do we not have anybody running a 5? Did we really think we were going to protect perfectly on this play? Can we just have a short route on this one?
I would like to say this about
Please.
Bieniemy. He should be well established and working with that. He brought Wiley with him.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just going to go ahead and say he was like,
want
I
this- I want
know
this
the
guy."
risk reward in this signing, and let's go ahead and do it. I'll just call some stuff. Or to be fair, to go back to what T's talking about, mid-season, apparently we're a late starting franchise.
We're late
Is when our
bloomers.
offensive line really gels.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like you don't
hoping.
start playing well until the 7th hole, the 6th or 7th hole, in golf.
Obviously,
At
Wiley
their
wasn't.
jelliest.
Wow.
Yes.
At their most, choreographed and coordinated. And
What'd I tell you?
Dancer choreographer. I love
they're
it.
not good enough.
I get it. But I'm telling you this, we didn't bring Wiley in here to play on an island and stonewall everyone like they claimed he did to Hassan Reddick. in the
Not
Super Bowl.
Dion. We're not putting on their best player every
No,
single play.
he's come to be one of 5.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We brought him in here
Yeah.
to be a part of a unit, not a right tackle, so to speak, a O lineman. I think. He's going to get better. He's
I agree.
exposed out there, and he is not the best athlete, but he's a good player.
He wasn't the problem this week. Gates
He's
was more the
fine.
problem than
He's
Wiley.
just-
But they take turns.
I'm taking shots at him here, but yeah, he's had a couple of athletes have beaten him, and he looks like and that's what D linemen do to O linemen, and everyone knows that they're 10 times more athletic and better, suited athletes than anyone on an offensive line. But we need to get better up front. Tremendous tremendous
The
amounts.
good news
later.
is, look at our wide receivers. The youth and speed and goodness out there. The defensive line is paid. We have plenty of money there. Our defensive secondary is young.
We need everywhere else.
In this coming,
Including QB.
We can look at the draft and we can say, "Oh, this is going to be great. We'll take the best offensive lineman that comes our way. Maybe the best two in the
I was
first.
gonna say,
You know what I mean?
I wanted two this year.
Olu. Olu would be great.
He'll be gone by the time we pick.
Maybe.
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 It's a pipe dream.
Maybe
but
we could move up.
Maybe. But
I'd move up.
Either way,
I'd move up to get somebody of his caliber.
And you know what? Moving up in the draft to get an offensive lineman does not cost you as much to move up in the draft to get a quarterback or a wide receiver. So it's
especially
possible.
after someone does some stuff up there and all the Caleb stuff shakes itself out. His former teammate. There's going to be all kinds of little slots and spots available and reshufflings and whatnot. I look forward to all that, but I like to get a stud, stallion, badass.
Let's say there's two or three of them.
We need a first rounder, so we can say at least we've got that. I mean,
but if they were, I mean,
but not a guard.
Please. I want a guy that we got for a decade.
Bring in two. I mean, that's where you go. Chris Samuels and John Jansen. And you get bookends in the first and second round. So that's possible. It's doable, and we're covered in enough other areas. Plus, the interesting thing also is, we have a ton of cap space, and
that is fun.
Offensive linemen cost a shit ton, and there's no way around it. And you have to pay a shit ton for mediocre, as Andrew Norwell's and even the Wileys and the Gates. These guys aren't cheap.
$8 million for Wiley.
Yeah. I mean, that's your bargain basement.
$8 million a year. It is.
That's bargain basement. But if you want to bring in like the best offensive lineman on the market, you have to have two things. First of all, you have to have the space, which we do, and then secondly, you have to have the situation because they're the best players on the field. Those top offensive linemen, and they know it, and they're just like a quarterback or a wide receiver or whoever. The top of the line guys, they want to come to a place that has a chance, and I think we're close to being that place. But they will decide that because they're going to get their money from whoever. Blocking for Sam Howell, to hear Gates talk about it, and it's cool. I kind of want to see a little bit more out of him, but at the same
they've
time,
got his back.
I mean, how could they not? How could they not the way he plays? I mean, it's crazy.
They've got his back. There's no doubt about it. There's been other teams where the quarterback, like Russell Wilson, I was watching a game the other day. He went down hard.
Nobody. Yeah, well, that's the telltale.
Nobody even like looked over and be like, all right. Like they just walked back and he was all by himself.
That's the Jeff George special.
I said to myself in that moment, I went, wow, that's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, 3 hours before kickoff, he was out there at midfield, and then I hand off left. Then I wave at everyone in the stand. And going through that weird, what are you doing, man? Calling plays in the huddle on both sides, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, just stop it, Russell. You big doofus.
Dude, Sean Payton is not looking good.
We're trying to give 3 firsts for Russ.
And they said, and he said, I don't want to go there.
I ain't going to oh, thank you, you big nerd.
Yeah, that was where our shittiness paid off.
Thank you, Ciara.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I mean, again, you could have all the money in the world, and you can get. It's like the fantasy football trade that you offer somebody in mid-season, and then like 4 weeks later, one person is like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't make that deal." Like the Denver Broncos are the team that are like, "Oh my, I can't believe we're the ones." Not only did they give up what it took to get him, then they doubled down and they gave him just an absolute albatross contract.
I'm thinking Ciara just went to Aaron Rodgers status. You get rid of Future and scoop up Russ Wilson. That's a life changer.
She did well.
Very mature, Rondell.
I just don't think he wasn't doing what she was telling him to do. Russ probably does anything.
Oh, leave it to Beaver.
Yeah.
That dude, Wally.
Do you remember the picture of Russ on draft night with his then girlfriend?
Oh God, that girl's her
Which she's like,
teeth.
They're like,
I can't get out of my. I've had night terrors about it.
It's like it's the meme where it's like, remember when Russell Wilson's girlfriend thought she had made it? Yeah. And she's like celebrating when he gets picked. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like that's probably one of my all-time favorite draft. Like in that scenario, the other one was it CeeDee Lamb who had like 2 phones on his lap,
snatched it.
and she tried to answer one of them, and he was like, "Oh no!" and he took the phone away from. It was everyone was watching. He did like he had that look on his face where everyone knows exactly what he was like. Oh yeah, you ain't answering that phone. That's great. Besides Aaron Rodgers in the green room, for as long as he had to wait to get picked, anything come to mind that beats those 3?
Brady Quinn telling everyone he was going to be the number 1 pick and sitting there like,
exactly.
I can't believe it. Like,
that's exactly right.
Sit there for another 10 years. I just don't like arrogance when it's unproven and unfounded. To get arrogance for clicks and blah, 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 and endorsements. Like, come out there and play, then go about your business. And I think that's why I had a hard time with old Baker. And I just like when guys come into this league and they do it the old school way and they're easier to root for. That's all. And Russell Wilson was very easy to root for a long time.
Absolutely.
Now that he's made all this money, had his Super Bowl ring, had the success, now it's easy to punch him around a little bit.
And he beat our ass.
He did. And
on a regular basis.
He was a great player, but what's happening?
He reminds me a little bit of like Alex Rodriguez, not in the way that he played, he plays on the field, but I heard a story about where Alex like called up Cal Ripken and was like, so when you shake hands with people, like, how do you do it? And he was just like, and Cal like said to him, you're overthinking this, man.
Chill out, bro.
Like, whoa. Like, it's a handshake. Like, I mean, he's just, he's like, I don't know, maybe he thinks too much of himself. I have no idea. But
yeah, I think he's just a different cat, man.
Back to why we got on that, Sam is a different cat.
Well, hold on.
Everybody likes.
I had one more. Just it came to mind, and I know you guys probably will remember it. I know Joe Thomas, the offensive lineman who played at not Wisconsin, not Notre Dame. It was one of those big top draft pick. He went fishing with his dad and his brother instead of going to the green room. He was the top 2 or 3 draft pick, and he got the call while he was. And I was like, you know what? And then he had an all-time great career. He maybe
he was a superstar.
So anyways, great draft day stuff. Sam Howell, his draft day was a lot different than all of those guys. He had to wait till the 5th round. And I wish I should have screenshot it. I just didn't want to like overload people with big pages of stats. But I could have sorted that quarterback stat group another way.
Bust out the readers before you do.
Yeah.
That.
Well, hopefully people could screenshot it and
they can
enlarge it. But he's a 67% completion, percentage guy. He's 9-6 isn't going to blow anyone's skirt up, but he's he's top half of the league in touchdown passes. He has obviously a ton of attempts. And his yardage is in the top 10. He's
a playmaker.
He is a guy. He's an absolute guy. He's learning he's learning on the job. He's developing right in front of our eyes. He was Wisconsin. Thank you, Ken Harris. But I'm already like pre getting angered by the people saying, no matter what happens this season, the people being like, okay, like who's going to be our quarterback next year? Like who are we going to go get? And it's
somebody
making
hurt them.
Stop worrying about it.
No. But I know it's going to happen, and it's just firing me up. Where like people
are people that don't know what they're talking about. Why do you listen to them? Why do they even? What did they say?
Listening to them.
They say even
they're saying it so loud that there's a whole portion of our fan base.
People that always drummed up every quarterback controversy in this town every year, going all the way back to
shiny objects. Sam. People want shiny objects, and it's frustrating. But I mean, I think we combat it by like continually building the case, pointing out that. In our division, he has the best rating. I think he's up there, right there with Jalen in terms of yards and touchdowns in the vicinity. Obviously, Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott's been up and down.
How about on our team? I believe he plays his position as well as anyone on our team has played their position.
That's the metric. That's how you decide how you build your team. Are we covered here? Yeah, we're covered here.
Yeah,
Let's move on to somewhere else.
He had a bad game, but I mean, he's bounced back.
I don't even. I don't know if that was a bad game. Bad.
You mean for Atlanta?
Had a bad game. Yes.
Bad game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt he had a bad game.
He wasn't the only one that had a bad game in that game.
He had a gigantic turd burglar of a scenario.
Well, so did other guys in that game.
Yes.
You talking about the 9-sack game or the 6-sack game? Or
the one when at the very end he was like, "Here you go, linebacker. Once you run that, you're gone."
But that happens.
It does.
He's not been the problem. He's not going to be the problem.
No, I don't think so either. I don't at all. I think whoever's got that guy for the next 5 to 7 is going to be very happy.
Yep.
Sheesh. More so than anyone we've had around here in a long time. And I just, you know what? Forget about the comparisons. I love watching him play. He's tough as nails, and he makes plays, and he just seems like the type of guy that you want to root for.
Never had a franchise quarterback.
So the argument that people have, and we'll let the board determine.
Another guy named Sammy. Another
Joe
guy named Sammy.
Theismann, people want it. People,
No one likes him.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Ball was, I mean, I know we're digging all the way back to the 30s, but I mean, obviously, Sammy Ball was our franchise quarterback. It's sad that you got to go back that far.
Yeah.
It's sad that you got to go back almost 100 years to get like a true franchise guy.
Yeah.
Now, did we? I'm trying to think. So, Theismann, but none of those guys are franchise guys.
Theismann was a league MVP and won a Super Bowl. So people are going to have the argument.
And played
that
for how many
says
years? Well, he broke his
a
leg.
lot.
But
He played. Well, he was a punt returner.
no,
to start
as
his
quarterback.
career.
As quarterback.
He started here for 9 seasons, I believe.
As quarterback.
At quarterback, a 9-year starter.
That's franchise.
Yeah.
That's franchise.
I mean,
quarterback.
I never
right.
thought he was, and then CJ
Well,
and I.
he's
had
the
this big-
only one.
I
CJ
just
and I went
remember
at
my
it,
grandmother
I
and
was
my
like,
mother
all right.
hating him on him because of the Kathy Lee
Mine too.
crap.
My mom
And
told
so,
me,
you know,
if you ever
he
do
was
anything
never
like
a guy that I loved.
Yeah,
I'm
me
sorry.
neither. My mom did the same
And he
thing to me.
didn't do anything to ingratiate people to love him until later in life. Now I think he's humbled a little bit.
Yeah, he is.
No,
Today.
it's
He
exactly
is.
the only
Time
person.
heals all narcissism.
Yeah, I guess so.
The only person who challenges Joe Theismann for potential franchise quarterback status here is Kirk Cousins. That's the only other quarterback that challenges it. Only
in terms
because
of longevity.
Well, 'cause you traded-
He was on the road.
you drafted him, you had him.
yeah.
He was a producer.
Yep.
You thought, to your point, he played his position better than most of the people who were on our roster playing their positions.
Yeah.
You probably always felt
That's
like
true.
that you could get better, but interestingly, he's about to turn 35.
I don't know.
And he still can't win the big game. He still can't.
So that's a knock on him.
He can fill up a lot of stats.
That's a
but
knock
when
on
it
him.
comes down to being the dog on that day, I don't think he can do it. I just don't think he
there's
can
people
do it.
that I'm sure agree with you, T. But he's going to be he's going to get to 40,000 yards, or he just did, or he's right in that vicinity. Which there's only like 20 guys, somewhere around 20 guys.
Yeah. Well, there's about to be 100.
Also true.
Yes.
But he also has revolutionized, which we care less about, revolutionized like the business aspect of being a quarterback. And he's in a contract year in Minnesota. Here's the interesting thing. He has a no trade clause that he won't waive because the only teams that would make a move for him, he's going to walk into an unwinnable situation. But part of the calculus there is he's about to be a free agent and cash in. And he knows if he allows them to trade him to anywhere, even a contender, and anything happens to him where he's playing behind a bad line or he doesn't know the receivers or he doesn't know the offense, it's going to cost him dollars. Someone just got who just got $45 million. Jared Goff's going to get like $40 or $45 million in an extension.
He's really good.
He's
He
been
is.
playing his ass off.
He's
Kirk
really
Cousins
good.
is going to get another contract in this league for $40-something million a year, potentially guaranteed. Maybe not the 5 or 6 year the other guys are. And it's crazy because after that happens, his career earnings are going to be somewhere around $350 million. And he will have been someone who you guys with your eyes and your analyst eyes, you'll look at him and you say, he took a lot of 5-yard dump offs in his career, and he does it all constantly.
He took a lot of major hits too. That guy
Yes.
keeps on getting up.
He does. He does hang in there.
It's crazy.
He's tough. I gained a lot of respect for him watching QB.
But I still, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I did, but he's
I
still
did too.
he's still kind of a douche.
He's a weirdo.
I would never go get a beer with him ever.
When he walks into the locker room, you're
Not
not
even
like,
close.
I'm gonna block my ass off for you, Kirk. I'm gonna do it. What are we doing after the game? Nothing. I didn't think so.
Yeah,
Shit.
right.
It
right?
is a way different feel between 7 games of Sam Howell and however many games we had
These
of Kirk
guys
Cousins.
love him.
It's different.
I will say though, Kirk Cousins got picked up by the O lineman. He wasn't getting Russell.
Oh, he had respect.
Jeff George.
No. He had
Yeah.
respect
Yes,
for what
yes,
he
yes,
did on the field and
yes.
how he played.
I think. But anyways, I know we don't care. I'm not obsessing about Kirk. I think he's a story. It's the most important position in all of professional sports, and he's done something to it ever since he worked us for 2 franchise tags. I mean, listen, we've been on the wrong side of him and his agents multiple times. We had the wrong guy on our side, Bruce Allen, doing all the wrong things. It was a terrible scenario. We got worked by Kirk Cousins. I don't think we're losing any sleep over it. I don't think, Minnesota's doing just fine. Kirk Cousins is doing great. Everyone's just, we got Sam Howell.
I'm glad the way it worked out.
Yeah, that's fine. But it is cool in a sense that he has absolutely crushed it professionally. And it's a story. It's really a cool story.
Yeah. He's a couple wins over 500.
I know. If you really dig in and you look at he's putting numbers upon numbers. He's super accurate. He piles up the yards. He throws to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and now T.J. Hockenson. He's going to get plenty of touchdowns. He's going to beat a lot of guys to some gaudy numbers that is that will get surpassed handily. But he'll be one of the first guys he'll beat guys that we think are better than him to gaudy numbers.
How can there be a quarterback with those numbers that have those stories to tell that T and I think both of us don't want to go get a beer with? Hey, Kirk Cousins is up at the Knights. You want to go up there?
If the guys are in the locker room throwing dice against the wall, and Kirk Cousins walk in, I think they clean it up and they're like,
yeah.
But if Sam Howell walks in, they're like, yo, Sam, come on, roll one. Come on.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, Kirk, come over here and lose some of that $350 million.
It's
come on.
It's nuts. He's smart enough too, because the way the salary cap's raising. So forget about it's not just Kirk Cousins centric. The way that quarterbacks, the quarterbacks are moving towards $50+ million a year. So let's say a guy like him and Jared Goff, for that matter, who I think is great, they can afford to take below market team friendly deals that pay them ungodly guaranteed sums at $40+ million a year, and they can still afford to put an offensive line and a defense on the field. Kirk Cousins, more than Jared Goff, would benefit from just a studly defense. If you put some money into a defense and you have Kirk Cousins on the other side, you're pretty great.
For the regular season, and then in the playoffs, you're still fucked.
All right. Okay, I'll let that be the last word on Kirk Cousins.
I'm telling you.
I'm down with that.
The last word on Kirk Cousins is the F-bomb.
Yes, that's fine with me.
Just like he always wanted it.
We're not going to get to it right away. We're going to tease the second part of our show, which is a birthday boy-inspired draft. That'll be horror movie characters. Happy 39th to Greg Martin, who's in attendance tonight. By the way, NAS Tecmo, thanks for showing up. You're going to be there on Saturday at McNamara? Just throwing it out there. Hit me back in the comments. Greg Martin is drafting for the board. We're gonna do I get the first tonight. I get the first pick. So I go number 1, and Kevin goes number 2, and then we all have to leave the room because it's a bad situation when he goes number 2. But then after that, he goes, and then Greg goes twice.
I'm third.
You're third.
Okay. All right.
But you're right after Kevin goes number 2. You're right behind that. So be careful. Okay. We have to talk about the game this week, and I say that because this is I feel like the networks are actively trying to get this game off the air, except for locally. I mean, Washington versus New York.
Why wouldn't you?
Hey, can we run reruns of Bob's Burgers this week? We would do great if we did. So obviously, we want to watch that game. New York is laugh out loud bad, even though somehow they made Buffalo's offense look terrible.
That was a horrible game.
After Buffalo ran up and down our throats.
It's not a bad football game.
Tell me.
I don't have an explanation but I think Buffalo was hitting all cylinders in DC, and they were not doing
every cylinder.
I do know this. The New York Football Giants have not scored an offensive touchdown by the time we get a hold of them in 35 days.
Dude.
But are they on bye this week?
No, we play them this week. It will be 35 days since their last offensive touchdown this Sunday.
And they've had 4 primetime games so far, which is the greatest thing ever.
And by the way, we all know how this goes when we say stuff like this. Oh, they haven't scored.
Daniel Jones is going to have 3 scrambles for 135 yards.
He's not playing.
2 touchdowns.
You sure?
I feel so. I'm not sure. They worked out quarterbacks this week, which again is a backup situation. Ian Book, Matt Barkley, T. Strachan. They brought everybody in. They got.
I played very well, but
they heard
my completion percentage just wasn't up.
It's all about the choreography. But obviously Tyrod Taylor starts if Daniel Jones can't start. They're not putting Ian Book in this week.
Said
But
his footwork wasn't very good.
like Daniel Jones, so here's why I think he's not playing. Because he said that he is prepared. You know, he said all like the quote unquote right things about how he's expecting to this and that. But it's a neck injury, and 1 week off to me for a neck injury isn't enough. Listen, if he plays great, I'm not worried about Daniel Jones. But
Don't say that. He has I'm sorry.
he's been a Hall of Famer against us.
He has absolutely kicked our freaking ass.
A Hall
He
of
should do
Famer.
I don't know
anything
why, but it's
possible
true.
to be in that field this week. For
He
himself.
should. He should. But if Tyrod Taylor's a quarterback, he's going to figure something out. I mean, here's the thing. What's wrong with our pass defense? Vis-a-vis this upcoming matchup with the New York Giants, who are playing a quarterback who is either a backup named Tyrod Taylor, not PJ Walker, or Daniel Jones with a neck injury, who's one hit away from coming off the field. So their passing offense is miserably bad, and our passing defense is miserably bad. Like something's got to give. I'll hang up and listen.
Ken, I don't think you should keep doing that with your fists. Because nothing gives in that scenario.
Do not even think
Nothing
about.
gives.
Don't give.
There's no give.
Don't give that.
There's no give.
Anyways,
no
what do we do? What do we do? What gives? What's going to give on that one? Because our pass defense is one of the worst in the league. We give up, I believe, our yards per attempt are the most.
Here's what's going to give.
Chase Young?
You were right. Del Rio turns it on. Game 6.
Ooh,
But
hey, 16 points.
They played a lot
16
better.
points.
16
They
points.
played
16
a lot
points, I'll
better
give.
this past week.
But they outgained
and
us.
I think that the pass rush gets better. I think that we
Against
see
that
more
left tackle?
opportunities.
I hope so.
I think we see more opportunities for interceptions like we saw this past week.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. I mean, they're not going to just get better, but as a unit, as a defense as a whole, they can get better still. They're still playing,
They can get a lot better.
They can get a lot
Our
better.
defense
There's
has
a lot
yet
of
to
room
play
for them
as
to get
good
better.
as their defense played against Buffalo last
Correct.
week.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
So let me throw this one by you guys. Like that loss was so gut wrenching if you're a player on that team as it could possibly be.
I love the ending. Yes.
You have a situation at the end of the first half where you don't get 3 points, and literally, like professionally speaking, like everyone should have been fired for not getting 3 points. Like that's unforgivable at the professional level. Like you're paid to do this. It was bad. I understand mistakes were made, but like it's bad. It's the worst possible thing. It's literally unforgivable. It can't happen. That happens at the end of the first half, and you go into the locker room and you look at each other and like, holy shit, how did that happen? Then the second half happens. You get to the end of the game, and once again, you're right there at the end, and it doesn't happen. In a game that you think you could have and should have won, and at the very end, you don't. The emotional distress, and you're 1-5 now. Like you think like, oh, we win this game, we're 2-4, and we beat the Washington Commanders, and we're back in this blah 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 blah. Like their season's freaking over.
Well, I'll tell you this. It was the Brian Dable love fest. The Brian Dable coach of the year last year. Everyone's holding up Brian Dable. What Jordans is he wearing now? What's he doing? He's home in Buffalo, where he's from, where he's born and raised. And the whole thing was about, and watching him legitimately look like he was about to explode. I thought he might just simultaneously
Because he knows, and it's obviously...
Ty. He was so bright.
Maybe he got the absolute most out of these dudes last year, and they totally bought in.
Which he did.
And then they felt like this year they could come in and kind of be themselves again, and it's just not sticking this year. I don't know. It's the only thing.
He did a hell of a job last year.
The same damn players.
We all had the shitty ass schedule that we don't care about talking about, but he did pull through in some wins in that schedule that you're like, and they won by a couple, and he earned coach of the year. But yeah, I think he was out there just,
like literally
casting spells. And
the highest,
I agree
highest
with you.
production out of what he had last year, and it was like literally the best you could possibly do.
They got the two studs, Andrew Thomas and Thibodeau. So a stud left tackle and a stud defensive end, pass rushing guy, like the best two possibly at those two positions. They bring him in. Obviously, Andrew Thomas hasn't been able to play, or he's missed some games, and he's obviously that's a difference maker. But he got everything he could, and then they added like literally like the two positions that impact the game the most. Every single play. Oh, here I am again.
Stop it with the kielbasa.
It's all about the kielbasa.
Seriously, sir.
I was gonna say, but I'm gonna do patty cakes from now on.
Hands down.
Patty cakes.
Hands down.
Every single play.
Hands under the table.
Those are the two biggest baddest. They should be the two biggest baddest guys. They are terrible. I don't know what the hell Buffalo was doing. They were off. I think Josh Allen, and I know Chris Collinsworth kept saying it. Was it Chris Collinsworth? Am I getting or Troy Aikman? What am I getting my announcers on? Who called that game?
Last night was Aikman and Buck.
Yeah.
So
Aikman
it was
Sunday was Collinsworth.
So Collinsworth.
That was Dable.
And he kept pointing out.
Yes.
Kept pointing out that Josh Allen was hurt, and I believe that. I looked at it, and he
grabbed his shoulder the one time briefly, his throwing shoulder, got up and came back right away. That dude is a horse of a dude. He's a badass. But he's also someone that doesn't have to just throw it to his team, just only against us.
It's only against us. Again, our pass defense. So let's do this. Let's start with T. Let's get a score prediction. We're 3-3. Let's see. Where's my handy dandy
notebook?
Okay. So all of us after week 6 we're just a little bit off. You had us at 4-2, so you're the closest. Kevin and I both had us at 5-1. And I got to be honest.
Chicago game's the one that the Chicago game screwed me.
Yeah, 5-1. 5-1, and this game, by the way, was picked by all of us a certain way. And T, you go first. What's the final score?
No. I think I was hoping this was going to happen, and I think we talked about it a week ago before the Chicago game, that this is where we should be kind of like really hitting our stride, or we need to be really hitting our stride. I think this game we improve again. We get better in this week. I think it's going to be like 27-14. Good guys.
Which lines up right with the birthday boy. He said 27-13. So you're right there. Kevin, what do you got?
Man, I was right in that ballpark. I'm just going with what I thought. 30-13. The first thing that pops into my head, 30-13.
So we're giving up an offensive touchdown this week to the Giants? Both of you guys think we are?
Here's
One of them
the deal.
could be a defensive one.
All the fun stuff
Or
that we
special
talk about in
teams.
here is fun to talk about. But when you play division games against a team that you play against twice a year, your entire fanship, throw all that crap out the window. It's just getting a win is a win. Winning by 1 is plenty. It's going to be ugly. NFC East games always have been since the 80s, even though those were the best football players in both these franchises' history playing at the time. 30-13. I think we're better. We're going to show it. And I think it's time this defense showed it. And if Mr. Jones and me are not in the building, that's going to help us. I promise.
The interesting thing is, for an offense that hasn't scored a touchdown in a hot second, they had the ball at the 1 yard line twice in the two most important times of the first and second half. At the end of the first half and at the end of the second half, on the 1 yard line, and they couldn't punch it in for a touchdown.
That's
Obviously,
where they're worst.
It's
Inside the 10.
Where they're the worst.
Troy Aikman said that's where they're at.
They
their
do not
worst.
want to be. This is not
And
a position
I never
where they're
listened to
comfortable.
Troy, but I did that time. I was like, I like it.
It's unreal.
Let's line up 11 guys at the 9, and let's get them down there, and let's see what happens.
Who's covering Waller? Let's go. Ken Harris.
I'm going to say right now, after Homeboy's first interception of his career to ice the game for us, Jamin Davis's coverage, which we talked about as suspect as a rookie into his sophomore, is now, I mean, I'm talking about, what a play on a wide out. I mean, on a big, man. So
I don't think anybody else is going to put
him
him on an island again with a running back.
Dude, his coverage on Bijan earlier in the game on multiple pass routes, he was right there. This athlete is playing. He's not guessing anymore. He's not thinking anymore. He's just flying around the field. And sometimes he overflies around.
There's a lot of trust.
But I don't give a damn because this guy's playing football right now. And a lot of people don't like him, and I don't care about that. Everyone has their own opinion. I love watching him play football, and specifically in the coverage game this past couple weeks, this guy's a whole different guy than he once was. And watching him sideline to sideline is beautiful to see.
He's fast. He's strong. He's a sure tackler, which obviously you have to have at the linebacker position when you have no linebackers. I'm gonna say I also think I think we're 3-handle. I've been going 3-handle lately because like you said, we were 24-10 with 12 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's crazy that we didn't get 30 hits. crazy that we didn't put more points on the board, or even like have or have yards of offense, for the rest of the game. I think it's 34-9.
31 yards in 16 plays. Come on, guys. Come on.
34-9. 34-9. We don't give up the offensive touchdown. We lay one on these guys. And by the way, if that comes to pass, if the win that we've all three predicted comes to pass, the Washington Commanders will be 4-3, which is equal to the record T had us at after this week. We all picked this preseason as a loss for respectful purposes. And a road game in the NFC East, we picked a hell of a lot of wins, which we actually could have had. We could be, we could be at 5 wins. We could be at 4 wins. We took the Eagles to overtime. We did show over Chicago, but long story short, we're 3-3. We're 3-3. If we win, we're 4-3. T had us at 4-3. But 4-3 is a hell of a lot better than kicking the balls.
I will agree.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got the game picked. We got some people still watching.
I'd like to know what you would take a kick in the balls over.
Football wise,
I don't know. Is there anything?
Not many things. I mean, I'm not
you would
gonna
allow someone to kick you in the balls.
I'm not allowing anyone to kick me in the balls.
Aside from like health and family, non-serious,
sorry for the sidebar, guys.
issues.
World peace, world,
end
end world hunger, end child poverty. Like kick me in the balls.
Oh,
but like for the freaking Redskins to win on Sunday,
how about unlimited fill in the blank of your choice for the year at no cost?
Unlimited fill in the blank.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't feel down
my balls.
I'm
just gonna
throw my legs up on the.
You want me to do it right now? You want me to do it to myself?
Let's just sign it up. I'm down. Bring it on. Sell tickets. It's all.
You made me think about that.
There's so many things.
When you get there, do you want me to kick you in the balls?
I've been continuing to process. It's like a ticker tape of all the things I would fill in the blank for of unlimited. Oh man, for a year's worth. I'd be like, just wind up, get a running start.
I'm gonna go set up camp outside June Ree for God's sake.
Exactly. All right, we're 57 minutes in. So the folks who've hung out with us this long to talk Commanders football, we appreciate you. We hope you stick around for the last segment of the night. Last segment of the night.
And there's also a surprise after the...
There's a surprise after. There's a surprise afterwards. But the last segment of the night, we're going to do a horror movie character draft. We always do a draft, and we've kept you guys on for quite some time.
Nobody heard me spoil it. That means you had the mute on.
You guys like it?
Oh, that's true.
I don't want to keep...
Oh, that's special.
You add to
that's
it.
Really
good.
Special.
Really good.
You keep adding to it. I don't like the additions.
It's like a Picasso. It's like a Picasso. Ken Harris, will we see you on Sunday? Hit me back in the comments on that. Or Saturday at McNamara, because I know you're recovering. How's the recovery going?
Yeah.
How's the recovery going? We want to make sure you're up and at 'em and able to get out there. But we'd love to see you. And not to spoil anything, but we're going to be there the next 2 weeks. The Mustangs stepped up and brought the First Amendment Sports In crew for the next 2 weeks.
So great.
So we appreciate the WCAC is growing by leaps and bounds, and as we always say, the league is better when everyone is all in and McNamara is all in. All right,
damn right.
Horror movie characters. Now, once again, I've prepared a smattering of graphical, visual aids. I'm not going to say I got them all right. If you pick somebody that I have in my in the roster, I'm going to throw them up there. Everyone's going to get. So we're along. We're in. So we're going to do a 5-round draft. We're going to go 5 rounds.
Ooh.
And I get to go first. Horror movie characters. Now, as we go through the draft,
this is all my list. This isn't like the best list of all time.
I understand.
List.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it has to be.
It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be your list.
That's
why I know I'm not going to get them all right.
Still matches with a lot of the best lists. My list this time does not match.
Good.
With a lot of the best.
That's why it's going to be interesting to see if I have the picture.
I have one
for your
that
picks.
nobody has. I'm almost positive.
I don't know if you guys appreciate this. Like Kevin, I think would because of his Rain Man skills and his Rain Man tendencies. Is like
just take it easy on my.
When I'm putting the pictures in, sometimes I'm like, I'm thinking like I don't know. Like this might not be a person I would pick, but I think one of the other guys would pick. I'm trying to get like pictures of people who I think you guys in. All right, so Ken Harris says let's put it up on the screen. He's still recovering. He'll be watching online. All right, so we're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you on Saturday. Maybe we'll get you the next Saturday. Yes. But either way,
I love the fact he's listening to us, but it's still it's better in person with you. That's all.
Yeah, always
get better.
Yeah,
keep getting better. We'll see you soon.
We're there. We're gonna be there for you. All right. You know what? Actually, hey, how about this? For all the reasons we could be there on Saturday, what better reason for the three of us to be there on Saturday than to bring the game to Ken Harris? Come on, man.
Hell yeah.
That's a toast to Ken Harris. Get better, buddy. We'll see you on the backside of your recovery. And we got you covered on Saturday, the next 2 Saturdays. I'll get things started. I'm not gonna mess around. Let's go right over to our draft pick blue screen. And let's go with number one pick in the horror movie character draft is none other than, and I had this picked up. I'm gonna go. Sorry, I gotta find it. It's right here. It's the face and name I can't get out of my head. It's Pennywise.
I've never seen him. I mean, I know it's iconic, and you see it everywhere, but I've never seen a.
It's twofold.
I didn't yet.
It's not because I don't want to see it. I just haven't had an opportunity to.
I'm the same.
Understood.
It's like one of those that just passed me.
He's one of the scariest looking freaking dudes, and when you see it,
it's a Stephen King,
and a person does it well. It is freaky.
Stephen King's all over my list, by the way, and this is a Stephen King book. They made a movie out of it. They made it twice. It's
clowns are scary, bro.
It is.
No
and then
doubt.
when you make them, when you actually make them scarier,
anytime
they were scary enough on their own.
Anytime you can base something on Stephen King and crush it.
No, it's Jake was this for Halloween, and I couldn't even look at him.
That's tough. Greg Carsliter reach in the first round, maybe. Kevin, you're number 2 overall. What do you got?
Number 2 overall.
Let's see if I got it. We're gonna keep Pennywise up there until
total
reach.
Really? I do like this draft, but it's our own. It's your own pick, and I struggle with this one, but I'm going Hannibal Lecter. The guy, just the whole Anthony Hopkins, the whole. It's one of the greatest, scariest, in my opinion. It's right up there at the tip top of horrifying,
and also because it's real. Like there are Hannibal Lecters out there. Like real people.
That's part of what makes it a horror movie.
I won't do any table talk, but yes, there's other real people, and it's just crazy. And the location, the central. There's a lot of stuff going on. Way to shoot a great big fat person.
I mean, it's scary. Hannibal Lecter's scary, and it's if I was drafting anywhere in the first round, he doesn't get out of the first round. So you get 1.
This is my number one. My number one. I knew she wasn't going to be taken in. I know Kevin will not be surprised.
Wait, can I?
No, I didn't. It's my favorite Halloween movie, and I did not. I just want you to know. Go right ahead.
But for personal reasons, I got to go with.
I know. It's Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween.
Laurie Strode. She's because Jamie Lee's a friend of mine, and if she there is no chance she's ever going to watch our show or anything. But if she did, and this was the episode she happened to unearth,
you'd be screwed.
Yeah, she'd be like, what the fuck? So, Jamie, I got to take you first.
Number 1 in the first round. I'm disappointed in myself.
She is the queen of Scream and still is 40 years running.
And give me 2 seconds as T-Bird's homeboy. This lady came to visit him in the hospital after his neck injury. Walked in, thought it was drab, thought it was dreary, couldn't believe he'd be in there. Went ahead and had a television installed in 30 or 40 movies.
She actually mounted a VCR.
Yes.
On the wall, because back then
under the television,
you only got 4, 5, 7, 9,
yes,
20.
on the little thing,
and sometimes
so 50. I had my house.
She
couldn't believe it. So she's like,
WBFF.
got me a VCR.
Filming True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger in town. They both came to visit. She became.
She's a good friend of mine.
And what it was so cool. I became a huge fan.
When she won the Academy Award this year,
moment.
That was the best.
So the next day, I just sat there thinking to myself, when am I ever going to have an opportunity to text, congratulations on your Oscar? That was a pretty cool thing to do.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I got to take a number 1.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yep.
All right, Greg Martin, you get 2 in a row. That's a great first round pick.
Well, I was never. That's my favorite Halloween movie.
I'm just disappointed myself.
I told my girls, I said we got to watch this because they hadn't seen it fully, and I said you got to watch it. They say it's the scariest. They say it's the best of all time. It's actually not. They were kind of like, oh, okay, Dad.
At the time, it was.
At the
It's
time.
different.
That's what I said to him. I said
It's
at
true.
the time,
Yeah.
this was scary.
Jamie
Joe.
Lee Curtis used to frequent the Blockbuster that EO worked at in the early 2000s.
Holy
Nice.
crap! You guys didn't even know you're like a friend of a friend.
I love Blockbuster, by the way.
So do I. I still have my card at home.
And I hope you would say also she was like as regular as anybody else that went into the
And
Blockbuster.
gorgeous.
So he went with Michael Myers, same movie. So now
Yeah,
one movie
got
has
to,
had two.
got
We're going to
to.
get rid of Hannibal Lecter, and we're going
You're
to
not,
put
you're not
up.
collecting them?
What do you mean?
Usually make a collage.
A pelt.
I decided not to do a
pelt
collage because I want
collage?
to make him big because Kevin's eyes are
Oh,
you know, he needs
I
to
like
see
the
him.
collage. The collage is cool.
All right, I'm doing collage for you next week.
All right.
What's our draft next week? Board. Think about it. Throw us a
Favorite
draft.
collages?
Robert Cohen, J Dubs, EO.
I'm sorry. That is scary, though.
Give
He's
us-
a scary
Give us a
scary
draft
dude.
for next week. For
The
God's
camera
sake.
angles.
What's your
When
number
he,
two?
When he
score.
just shows up and it got.
Greg, you get a second pick. Also, a very there's some unbelievability obviously with these main characters in these horror movies, but like the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis made the first one of this in what, like late 70s ish,
Yeah, it was
79, 80, something like that, and
I think- yeah, it's right there.
40
and they
years
just had a
running.
Halloween movie that she was
I want
also
to say
in.
it's 80.
80.
for some
That's
reason.
fine.
The Halloween's kind of got really weak in the
78?
middle, but she
Yeah.
finished it strong.
She
with-
did. The last
with
Halloween-
Halloween final,
Whatever,
the final act
chapter
or
or-
whatever it was that she did well there.
But that was
And
just in the last few years.
I think they finally put a bow on it. Yeah. I think
Or
I
did
think-
they?
I think they did.
Or
I think,
did
no,
they?
did.
It was a bow? Or was
She
it
did.
a...
She's put a bow on it. She's done.
Good. I love what's going
was
on.
it a bow or was
Uh,
it a...
Oh,
Yeah,
you're just
no.
taking advantage of. I'm gonna. Second pick is going Dracula. Okay, so he says Dracula.
All right, so he just gets Dracula. He doesn't have to.
Bela
like, say
Lugosi, you have
Bela
to.
Lugosi,
You
or
have
the
to.
other
Lugosi,
guy.
Dracula.
He did. You got to.
Because there
I
were
didn't throw-
multiple.
I
He
didn't-
said, or Christopher Lee. He went old school.
Bela
Yeah.
Lugosi, Dracula. You get him.
I think you kind of have you either gravitate towards one or the other.
Coming back to you, T.
So I know that it's. Look, I'm going Jason. I mean,
I know.
isn't he
No,
like?
no, that's.
I mean,
there he
nobody
is.
can have. What is it? How many are there? 15 of these things?
I don't know.
Yeah. And I know it's just. I know he's not real. You know he's not. Actually human. But you would think horror. I mean,
Friday the
Yeah.
13th.
Friday the 13th, man.
But the thing about Friday the 13th.
And I loved watching them because, especially when I was young, they always had the booby scenes. That was the best.
All right,
My mom
so
didn't know.
You just stole that from
My
me.
mom didn't know.
You just stole that from me because I was just gonna say I was like 9 years
She was
old.
just
I was like 8
horrified
years
that
old.
I
You were
liked
already
watching
like you were driving at that point, but I was only like 8 years old. And my friend, it was someone. There was
we're
a
the same age.
VHS down the street, and you go down and you watch. And it was a horror movie, and they're like, "Oh, we're watching a horror movie."
Yeah,
and you're
parents
like,
didn't want any
it's
part of that.
R-rated, and you know, no one. And then all of a sudden you watch it, and all of a sudden it's like a naked chick swinging out over a lake on a rope and
No, it was
dropping
awesome.
it, and you're like, "Wait a second."
I'm horrified, but I'm aroused.
A horror movie, you say?
What's this called again?
These guys are geniuses.
No, Mom, don't come in. It's a horrible
Let me
scene.
just say,
I do hate it, but I also love it.
you kill some people, but you also showed 19-year-old sorority girls just skinny dipping.
Yes, and there's 10 guys here, and I'm horrified about two things: this movie
What a
and
formula! What a formula!
But I mean,
They crushed it.
But I mean, it was a franchise. It was
was a franchise.
They've made careers out of it.
Yeah.
But they also had like Kevin Bacon. I mean, it wasn't just nobody. They had people like Kevin
Nobody's,
Bacon.
but I'm
in
just
these
saying, but it
things.
was
I mean,
always a hot chick in whatever
Yeah,
era
had
they
to
made
be.
it.
Had to be.
So
Speaking of
Jason.
hot
I was
chicks,
so I had
Had
to
to go
picture
Jason.
Jason, and I didn't do Jamie Lee Curtis, so I didn't do. But I was 100%. And I wish I had now, but I didn't do the nameless.
I don't think you can have a horror best list of any type without Jason in the top.
No, but I was going to
Five.
say I was going to put the college co-eds that appeared in the first three specifically. We're talking about it for real. Specifically, Friday the 13th, 1, 2, and 3.
You've got them ranked, don't you? You have them all listed.
No, I
on a
don't,
piece
dude.
of
I
paper.
literally, I was in grade school. You had a mustache and you were driving a station wagon. So
He was
it was
6'1".
totally different areas. You were 6'2". You had Superman haircut, and you were playing 180 pound ball. And I literally, I was still in a high chair. But anyways, and it was weird that I was watching Friday the 13th movies at this stage of my life. But Kevin, you're up.
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm going Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Because,
Freddy. I got Freddy for you.
If Will Smith wants to rap about you, I'm going to take you in the second round.
Let's get Freddy. Where is he? Hey, Will Smith did rap about
He was
him.
horrifying.
He was.
I can't believe there's a, but
the first few movies were legitimately scary.
They were they were for real, and that's the only ones I watched, and that's the only ones I will remember.
He was a scary character.
He was.
He was a scary character.
And the
but
idea-
I felt like at the time that it came around and all that, horror had been kind of like bastardized.
But before you get to the deep, dark bastardization of Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street, when we would all get together with friends or whatever, like, but falling asleep, like whoever fell asleep first was like, it was like a big thing. So you'd watch a little Nightmare on Elm Street, whichever version you so desired, and then it was like, God dang it, man! I knew damn well I could not fall asleep.
He's the
top
same as Jason.
7.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, but he got you in your nightmares. So going to bed for him was not just having nightmares. You thought you might not wake up.
All right, so I get 2 in a row, and you know what? I was thinking about how to do this, how to make my way through, and you know what? I'm going to stay in the Stephen King situation, which is where I started. I went with Pennywise first. I'm going to stay with Stephen King.
Don't do it.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Don't do it.
Wait, who do you?
No. Just don't do it.
I'm staying with Stephen King, and let's see, where is it? It's dang it! Oh, it's here. It's right here. Bam.
Okay.
Oh,
Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Sure.
Jack Nicholson,
Yes.
great character, great actor, great horror movie. I mean, to pull off like a great novel, you have to have great acting. They had the best, and they also had like the weird actors, like the chick who played his wife. She obviously wasn't getting picked to play Barbie at the time, but she was a great horror movie actress. The movie was unreal.
That was a very nice way of saying she was not.
You know what? She was
easy on the eyes.
Obviously, they made her up to be uglier than, or more frightening than she naturally was. Trust me, she was a hot actress. I'm sure she could have swung out on a rope on Friday the 13th tee. Thanks for asking.
She didn't sweat much for a horror character.
She didn't sweat much for a horror character. Also true. And I'm going to stay with Stephen King. My top 3 picks are all
Ken.
Stephen King.
Come on, man.
All Stephen King, and I don't
If
think
you say the cat from Pet Cemetery, I'm going to.
God
Annie
damn it.
Wilkes. Annie Wilkes from Misery.
I should have taken her second. You might not have taken Freddie.
You're kidding me.
This was my choice.
You
This
That
is
was
one of the
mine, too.
So
scariest.
frightening.
Next best on the list.
Oh, the sledgehammer with the block and
Again, because it was almost too real.
I
Like
know.
it can't
On
happen.
Sunny. On
And
Sunny.
she looked like a normal. Everything was normal and blah, blah. Oh, she was so creepy. Oh
was
God, I gotta
creepy.
cross her off my stuff.
Dude,
Yep.
Annie Wilkes, Misery. I was talking to my son. I was like, I'm going to go all Stephen
Lord,
King.
dude.
And I said, have you seen Misery? And he said, no. And I was like, of course you haven't. Why would you? It's, it's almost a 30-year-old movie. And it holds up because it's literally like a 3-person, middle of the woods, terrible. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is absolutely horrifying.
Oh, Greg Martin hates it. Greg Martin liked the Jack Torrance pick. He hates the Annie Wilkes pick. EO, the hobbling for sure. We're going back to you, Kevin.
It's back to me.
It's back to you. I know. I stayed Stephen King, and I crushed you on that one. I'm sorry.
Crap. Well, then I'm going to go the other one that has haunted me my entire life, and that's Carrie White, Sissy Spacek, in the movie Carrie. That scene, that whole thing, I watched with like aunts and uncles. You can't.
I didn't
imagine.
think you would pick it, so I
was
didn't.
shocked. Well, whatever. I would have taken
The blood?
Bates.
Yeah.
the pig's blood, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Her face. She had the perfect. Like, was she attractive or horrifying? She was both at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I was watching, and I didn't look away, and it was just, and she's looking at everyone, and it was just, I was like, what are we watching?
It is, but by the way, that's
Oh
a great
my
example of a
God.
horror movie actress.
Yes.
That like makes it happen in the same way that the Shining wife did.
Yeah, exactly. I still have that image in my head, and I still have. Oh, it's
Yep.
creepy. All
I
right.
have on my big board. I have another example of an actress like that who's just you look at her and say, you know what? She could frighten the crap out of you.
Oh.
T, what do you got?
So I'm going to go with another nostalgic pick.
Okay, let's see if I got you.
I don't know if everybody loved this movie, but this guy was an iconic, in my opinion, horror
This is gonna be Toy Story. This is gonna be Toy Story.
character.
Not
Peter
Woody.
Vincent from Fright Night.
I don't
Robert
have
McDowell.
it. I don't have it, Marty. I got you. I know.
I remember being a kid watching that movie, and when the Vampire Slayer came on and taught you how to, it was like the
What did they teach
It was
you?
like the horror picture
Rocky
equivalent
horror picture.
of Rocky.
Yeah.
Of like how to prepare
Yeah.
to
I
slay
see.
the Dracula.
Yep. Okay.
So Peter Vincent.
Peter Vincent.
Pretty iconic if you ask me, but it's not for
Greg,
everybody.
you get 2. Let's see him. There's a delay, so that's why I said that. So you went. So your first pick was Jamie. Your second pick was
Jason.
which is my first.
And
two.
Peter Vincent.
So you
Then
got
the rest of my top 5 gotten taken. So Peter Vincent.
So
was the
Greg
next best
says-
on my board.
good pick by you. He likes it. It's along the lines of picks he has coming.
I just think Fright Night is not your typical horror that everybody's gonna love.
He said
I saw it because,
But I
Marcy
think
Darcy.
yeah.
But
Well, I
think
didn't know
yes,
that until I read
yes,
that.
true. Yes,
Marcy Darcy
She
was in
pretty
it.
hot at that.
And Greg gets credit for pointing that out because he's a
And,
married
and
children
it
guy.
was, but it's like what am I thinking? The word cult. It's kind of got a cult
Yeah.
following.
Well, I like those movies. I like the cult
Yes.
horror
Yes.
movies too.
Oh, wait till my last pick, which I know nobody has.
All right, so you've drafted now three people.
3.
All right, Greg, it gets 2. He's got 2 coming up. We're coming back. I've drafted 3, so I get 1. So we have a 5-round draft coming at you. We're 3 in. Greg, what do you got? He said he already. I know he's typing them in. We appreciate folks for hanging out. I mean, this is our like fun segment. All right, don't give it. You're giving us your commentary in the comments. What do you get? What's your picks? Let's see. We'll let him do it because it's his birthday. My picks probably inspired that guy, Dr. Loomis and Van Helsing, played by Peter Cushing.
Yep, Dr. Loomis is in Halloween, so that's the 3rd character chosen.
Yep.
From that
Well,
movie.
I'm running out of.
And
running out of
Van
characters.
Helsing is iconic. Again,
Is Van Helsing his pick? I'm reading that. I'm trying to
are
understand.
those his pick? Yeah, my picks.
My picks?
Yes.
Probably inspired.
Doctor.
Wait,
Dr. Loomis and Van Helsing. Are those your
picks?
Are those your 2
Yeah,
picks? I
those
don't know.
are picks.
I
Because there's
assume-
no table talk. He's
I'm giving him some table talk, but I
Well,
thought
it's his birthday, so
it's his birthday.
yeah, but
So just say yes
I
or
believe
no.
those are his picks.
I think Dr. Loomis and Van
because
Helsing are
that's
his 2
Dr.
picks.
Loomis is
They're both on my board.
right?
Yeah.
Me too.
at this, right around this.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis and Van Helsing. You don't just say that. Yeah,
You don't just say that. Okay, those are his 2 picks. Greg, don't get
just
don't
say
get
it.
mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I thought you were just like trying to get involved in the conversation. All right, T.
All right,
comes
back
to
at
you.
me. All
Yeah.
right, so this one I'm really excited to get. Chris Washington and Get
How
Out.
excited? Yeah, show us how excited. Oh,
You this
dude.
excited?
Okay, yeah, you did it. All right, so Chris Washington, by
Chris
the way,
Washington
you know what you
and
get?
Get Out.
You know what you get? You know what you get when you say that? You get a little Chris Washington in your life because
I mean, I watched this movie recently, and I remember it was good, and like I didn't see it in the movie. Yeah,
it was
that-
so good,
right there, dude. I mean,
dude. The Key and Peele dude, Jordan Peele.
the moment when you were like, "Oh God, oh,
This is
heart wrenching."
why
It was horribly for your mind,
this is a new era of horror movie in
Yes.
our last 5 years.
and I can't wait to see more.
When we talk about
I saw
Halloween, Nightmare on Elm
Us.
Street, Friday the 13th,
wanna
Jason
see
and Freddy,
Strangers.
like those are B movies, right? B movies are like by definition a B movie, a horror movie is falls in the B movie category.
Yeah, Jason, Friday the 13th.
But like the category of movie though, a B movie, from a budgetary standpoint to the actors you can get to the story, but whatever horror movie fall. But like Jordan Peele and a couple of
it terrified your mind.
what's his Ari, the guy from 24, the guy who's done some movies that are coming up on my list.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, not M Night Shyamalan. I'm talking about like movies like this.
Yes.
This is a legit new age horror movie.
Not M Night.
Not M Night. No, he's the balls down. BD.
No, balls up.
Balls. Sorry, balls up. Damn it, you're right about that. All right. It's a balls up situation. All right, so we're going to get his picks off the board. All right, so wait, where is it? My picks probably Dr. Lewis. Oh,
It's up to me.
what do you got?
T made the last choice,
Yep.
and I am going to go to the
Great pick.
another like all these people are still in my nightmares, including Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh. I'm giving it to you because I got a picture too that's like I couldn't find a picture that wasn't scary. Yeah. Dude, check this out.
I was horrified by
I looked
this.
for
And this is real
pictures.
too.
Yeah, I know.
This guy actually existed.
It's so gross. And
Yeah, Ari Aster. Thank you, EO.
His family
Why
was.
would you pick that one, man?
Now I'm going to have nightmares again. I just peed on myself a
You know
little.
what, but Kevin, the interesting thing was when I was looking for pictures of them because they have a bunch of different things, and I saw this picture, and this to me, like, even though it's like kind of blurry and whatever, this is the picture that scares me the most of all
Yeah,
the
it
ones I
does.
saw.
Can you please get it off?
Wait, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Let me just go back to this main screen.
God.
Dang it. All right. Leatherface is off the board. And that was scary. He's scary. So now I get 2. So these are my last 2. Darn it. And Chris Washington, damn it. Chris Washington was my next pick. So I'm going to, you know what? Since I like the idea of like the Stephen King theme, and I don't have any other Stephen King characters in my wheelhouse here.
You don't have the cat from Pet Cemetery? Crazy.
Or the son. I'm gonna stay with the Jordan Peele theme because I think he is my guy now. I love him, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna switch back over to Leatherface. Sorry, we're gonna get him off because we're gonna get him off for T. He's specifically requested we get him off. All right, and now we're gonna go to Adelaide. So another one. So Us. Like the series of movies that George put out, again, these are horror movies and by nature B movies, but they're elevated. Get Out was, awesome.
I'm sorry. I want to see this. I haven't.
You haven't seen
this.
Us?
I haven't seen this.
I liked it.
I've seen Nope,
Yeah, no,
but I haven't seen Us.
Nope was fine, but
I haven't
like,
seen any of them.
but
Are these the tether? What are they called? The people that come or something like that?
yeah. It's a weird thing. It's you gotta.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
It is, and but the thing is like again, don't be going. You're not going to get like Saving Private Ryan. These aren't sweeping like crazy.
No, they're psychological.
Yes, and Jordan, by the way, who we fell in love with as a
Screws you
half
with
of
your mind.
one of the greatest sketch comedy
Yeah.
duos of all time.
Just super talented dude.
And then he turns into a director who's like pumping these movies out. So again,
It's remarkable.
Adelaide Wilson from Us. I loved it. I love this movie. I love everything he does, and so I'm going there. And I get 2. So damn it, we're gonna take him down. And you know what? This is my last pick. I felt really strongly about a couple of the bottom of the boards. There's some top of the board guys still available, but I'll tell you what. I'm just going to do it. My last pick of my draft is quite simply this man, Willy Wonka.
Wait,
I watched this movie
not
when
a
I was a
horror
kid,
movie.
and I was scared.
Is that a horror movie?
Shitless.
There is some. Well, when
Shitless.
Augustus got sucked into the chocolate fountain,
The dude invited a bunch of kids. He lured them with candy to a
super
factory,
creepy.
and one made it out alive. It was like the freaking octagon of kids. He was like, "We're gonna yes," and then some Oompa Loompas sang.
Dude, where the hell were they from? Oompa Land?
Dude, these kids got freaking destroyed. It was unbelievable. They got stretched out. They got drowned. They got broken up into a million
Floated
pieces
in
by
the
the
air.
TV thing. They were pumped with helium, turned into blueberries. I'm just saying, I was scared out of my
yeah,
mind.
but they all broke a rule.
Understood. Kind of understood. At the same time, you invite kids into a chocolate factory, and you think everything's just going to
Follow
go
the
swimmingly.
rules. He seemed like a perfectly fine.
Yeah, I know. You just described a horror movie, by the way.
And the snozberry tastes like snozberry.
Who follows the rules in horror movies?
Is he the first
Some
Saw?
years ago.
Is he the first guy Saw? Is this the first version of the movie Saw?
Maybe.
Is that what this was?
I'm just saying. He was absolutely terrifying. And the fact that, and by the way, look, we watched that movie.
Jigsaw is his.
See if he was ever morally challenged or bothered in any way whatsoever when some 8-year-old kid drowned in his pool of
Willy
chocolate.
Wonka on your best horror
You
movie
just
list.
trusted Troy Apke.
It was distracting.
No, give Top Heavy credit. I just repeated what I saw.
It's true. I understand.
Martin hit you with it's a musical. Then you got hit with Troy Apke. Jesus.
I thought he was.
You better not
terrifying.
mess up your next pick here.
What do you got?
right.
It goes back to
Wait,
you.
wait.
It's back to
Is
me.
Kev?
Shit, now the pressure's on. All right.
Willy Wonka's a monster.
I have three left, and I don't know which one to take.
All right, let's see if I
All
got
right,
him for
well,
you.
I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna take, and here's why. But two people I have a close personal connection to.
Okay.
Might be in Dreamland.
Jamie Lee
but-
style?
No, not even close.
Okay.
Although this gentleman, the character he was based on was one of my
gonna
great grandfather's
cross Willy Wonka
friends, and that's a fact. Father Damien Harris in the movie The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Played by
okay.
Jason Miller. Father Damien Harris was the name of the man in the book. In the real story, there was multiple priests. There was like a team of priests, and one of them used to come over for dinner and tell everyone on Sunday dinners in the 50s in the 70s about what happened in previous times. And he was an exorcist priest. It wasn't just one exorcism he performed. It was all kinds of stories at Sunday dinner in front of the elders, passed down in my specific family. But that movie also, I've just gotten 5 things off my chest that are probably going to come back to haunt me tonight.
Can I just tell you, Kev? I've thought I'm kind of like in a resurgence of appreciating horror movies again because of guys like Jordan.
Nice resurgence, bro.
And they're actually spending money. Like these aren't no longer low budget scenarios. They're actually building them out, as is the case of the remake of that movie, The Exorcist. And you're thinking to yourself, of course they're going to remake that movie. You know, considered the scariest movie of all time, and now they can put money behind it. Dude, the trailer for that movie is terrifying.
Dude,
It's terrifying.
the idea of the demon had a name, and it's crazy. It's
And now they're playing on the parents
Zazion.
situation.
I know, I
There's
can't-
multiple
it's not
parents
even-
and there's multiple kids, and it's like, oh my gosh.
It's and by the way, if you live around here, guys, you've all heard of the Exorcist steps. One thing
stairs.
we've all done in our lifetimes, whether we were drunk, sober, 14 or 40, we've pulled
It
over
took
on the
a long
side of
time
the
for me
road
to actually physically go do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too. In high school, it
Yes.
was like, do I really want to
Yeah.
do this? The film where the priest falls out, the guy falls out of the.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in the rectory, correct? And he comes down the set. Yes. When the older guys at St. John's on
It's
the
a
varsity
dark
baseball
stairway,
team
too.
coming back from 4 Mile Run Park in Bishop Ireton to go back to DC, they were like, let's do it. And it was so dark, and I did it. And
I also thought it was the
I
actual
clenched
where it
my
actual
cheeks.
like
that's
It
where
is.
that's where it was filmed.
It's the
where it was
actual-
actually
Yeah.
filmed. I
Actually
thought
filmed.
there was actual exorcism stuff on those steps for the first
Correct.
half of my life when I was little. So
Yeah. Well,
that
it
made it more
happened.
terrifying. But
Uh,
all right, here's
See?
the one that I was so happy to do. You guys are gonna make fun of me.
what do you got? Let's see if I got it
This
for
is
you.
really truly my list.
I love it.
Do you guys even know? And
I'm putting my pen
board,
down.
the board can do it.
I know it right here.
You guys even
Circled it.
know
I just circled it.
who Marty Coslaw is? Does he have him on there?
I don't think it's the.
Does he have him on there?
No.
Do you even know who he is?
Marty
I
Does
do
Kozlov.
the
not.
board even know who he is?
I don't know that, Marty.
Movie.
If
The
he was,
movie is-
if he was your neighbor, I don't want to hear the
The
rest
movie
of this.
is Silver Bullet.
Oh, I love that movie.
By
It's my Ricka family favorite.
Corey Haim.
It's a Ricka family favorite.
I loved it. I loved
it's
it
a great
before I was in a
movie.
wheelchair.
It's a great movie.
The fact that I'm now in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
I have this
Yep.
this bond with
Yeah.
him.
Yes. Marty
Uncle Red,
Kozlov.
Uncle Red by Gary Busey built him the motorcycle wheelchair, and then wanted him to be independent, and he was a young kid coming in his own. He's trying to be the cool uncle, and there was this freaking Reverend, what was it? Reverend Lowe by Everett McGill.
It's one of the greatest horror movies
Terrifyingly,
ever.
A reverend who turns into a werewolf
Yep.
and starts killing people in town, and he comes after Marty. But Marty wins the day, bro. Wheelchair and all.
That's
Kills him with a
my mom
silver
and siblings are going to be so
bullet.
mad that I didn't pick a character from Silver Bullet. That's a historical. My mom
love it.
My mom is a grandmother.
half-sister.
She provides daycare for her 10 grandchildren.
I
Home
saved
the
them for
youngest
my
3.
last.
She lets the little boys watch Silver Bullet because it's something you can watch with the kids.
Yeah, it's not
just a
like-
great movie.
There's
and
a
it's
couple
still
really
scary as shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, especially
Yes.
at the end when you
Yes.
see the werewolf or when
Yes.
you see him change. Did the board know? Did the board have any idea?
You see
All right,
him,
so-
you see him change.
Yes.
Yes.
That is an exciting.
There's no way they're not screenshotting all
That is
any
an
of
exciting
this. So wait,
exchange.
Greg has picked 4 people so far, correct?
Yep.
And therefore he gets one last pick
Yep.
of the draft, and it will be the last pick of the draft, and then we'll do honorable mentions, and we'll see what other pictures we have. Greg, who is the last player picked in this draft? Is he a green room guy? I don't know. Is he on this list? Probably not, because Willy Wonka was, and no one liked that pick. He scared me.
I don't think Willy Wonka's ever been on anybody's horror movie.
Dude,
pick.
it's.
I know it's
By the way-
scary,
yeah.
but I didn't think horror. I thought like
Well, it was when I
someone's
watched
trying to
it.
creep into my booty holes.
I thought the Willy Wonka movie when I was a kid scared me crapless.
I know. It was so awkward. Mm-hmm. It was very creepy.
And I didn't watch. That was the first movie that I watched. That was because
I
I
remember
wasn't
my
watching
parents
Friday the
being
13th.
like, "What are you watching?" And they take and watch for like 2 minutes. And my dad would be like, and I was like, "I don't know how to explain this
Who
one."
the
Father.
F has a bunch of green
You
people
like this?
singing
I was like,
songs?
I think I do, but I don't know if I hate it. I might hate it.
Let me get this
but
straight.
I kind of like it.
This guy got some kids involved, drowned him in his chocolate pool, and then every time they died, a bunch of green people would come out and sing a song about it. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great pick, Greg. There's no arguing. This is on my board.
Frankenstein's monster,
I mean,
Boris Karloff.
I remember seeing it.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Who'd you go with?
Boris Karloff, Frankenstein. But like that's
With
an all-time.
It is.
That's
Frankenstein's
that's a
monster?
movie.
Wait.
I know, but he kind of
Frankenstein's
saved the
monster
draft because we didn't
or
have Frankenstein and we had
Frankenstein
draft.
himself, which is the actual
Monster.
guy, the monster.
He went
He
monster.
drafted the monster.
He went
He
for the monster.
specifically wrote monster.
Okay,
Yes, he did.
because that's the
He wrote the
correct way to do
monster,
it.
and he also wrote Boris
There you go.
Karloff. To make sure that we have Frankenstein's monster, Boris Karloff.
All right. So, Greg, as the birthday boy, before the three of us get to add any of our
Monster.
2 cents, you said you have too good, too
There's
bad,
monster right there.
and you went with
And he
Frankenstein's,
went with Frankenstein's
Boris
monster.
Karloff.
Yep.
So that means you have 3 others that didn't make it. As a birthday present to you, tell us what the 3 are, and we won't say a word until we see what you said before we give our
Do you have
honorable
the candles
mentions.
ready though? Because
I don't have any candles. You have a big candle written on that piece of paper there when you want
we'll
to
just
light it on
use
the
a pen.
fire.
We'll just use a pen for a candle.
How about this? Let's go ahead and bring it out. We got a muff cake.
Got a lighter. You wanna just,
I don't have a lighter.
I have a lighter.
I've been baking this muff cake since yesterday.
There's a muff cake coming out for our big
There's a
birthday.
definition for muff cake.
We don't
What are you
have
doing?
39
You look
candles.
like Zoolander.
Here it is.
in-
I looked it up. There is an actual thing. It's called a muff cake. It's an ambiguous snack dessert, muffin-esque in consistency. It
Where's your
contains
hand?
chocolate chips, but frosted like a cupcake. See, I didn't read that before I started baking this one, so I just went old school. And happy birthday, Greg.
Yes. Where did that come from? Here, let me see that for a second. Where
Well,
did I
you
see
can have that one.
just can't
There's
read
another
that.
one. There's another one because I wanted to. Ken,
That's
tea. Did you want to hand that one to tea for me?
That's great. That's great.
I'm telling
It's
you.
fresh baked.
Nothing like a birthday party. And listen, it's almost like the pandemic. Is someone driving around Greg's
Is
house
the hair
honking right
supposed
now?
to stay on it, or
No, you pick that off.
I mean, it's a traditional muff cake.
It's traditional.
no? Good.
It's
The thing
not
about
bad.
it is,
not
if
bad
you
at
don't
all.
do it traditional, by the way, if I said chef reactions, the chef who does the reactions to people cooking stuff on video, does that mean anything to you?
It's called Chef's Sniff.
No, sorry. It's the guy who just busts on people
No.
who are cooking things online. We could have done a good chef reactions to this. 10 out of 10, I would eat it.
Thanks,
all right.
for the muff cake, Kev.
Yeah.
Hey, thank Greg. He's the one that turned 39 in Jersey. Come on.
We couldn't do this with our
Happy
team
birthday,
mom.
Greg.
Happy birthday, Greg, from us and from our team mom, Martha, who obviously made the muff cake. I mean, it's a little
My favorite show ever.
It is your favorite show. By the way, the guy who brought the muff
Yeah,
cake
muff
doesn't get
cake.
it. You want a little bite of this muff cake?
No, I tried some earlier.
Okay.
It was
all right.
good. It was
All right.
good.
Happy birthday. All right, he gets to put all of his lists. All right, well, I don't know. That seems a little bit crazy, but let's throw it up
Go
here.
ahead. See what else. I bet we have some. Let's do it.
Rest of look how you know when it goes into the tiny print. Rest of his list:
Wolfman,
Wolfman,
sure, okay.
Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street, Dr. Frankenstein, and Igor from Frankenstein. Chucky.
Oh, Igor was a scary character, man. When you saw that in black and white when you were young, oh, come on.
Chucky was not. I did not like anything about Chucky, but
Yeah, but Jennifer Tilly I had on my Chucky list. Just
Yep.
saying.
all right. So he got 2. We're gonna go here. We're gonna get the scariest guy who was drafted right off this thing. All right. So he had 2
That you had listed?
that I had listed. Let's see. Where are we?
Throw the honorable mention up in a collage.
That's what we're doing. I don't have a collage. Dude, I can't collage it on the fly, dude. You think too much of me. There's a little pinhead for you.
Yeah, Pinhead.
Someone threw this out earlier. Damien from The Omen.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a creepy ass movie.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
How about? Did anybody have Stripe from Gremlins?
No.
Really? He's the one with the
I looked
the
at Gremlins
mohawk.
earlier. I did not do it. Greg also
The one
threw
with
out
the mohawk.
Jigsaw. Has anyone a Saw?
Yeah, I didn't really watch it. I watched.
Yeah,
one
I
and
didn't
two.
either.
He's creepy.
Some
Don't
guy
get me
named
wrong.
Steve just asked us if y'all going to stream St. John's versus Samantha. That game is on ESPNU, I believe.
On Friday night,
Friday
we
night.
are streaming St. John's McNamara. And next week,
No,
McNamara.
this
sorry,
week.
sorry.
This week.
Gonzaga.
McNamara.
Yeah,
McNamara.
some guy named Steve. This
At
Saturday,
McNamara.
McNamara Gonzaga. Next Saturday,
DeMatha.
McNamara
At
DeMatha.
McNamara.
Following Saturday, Gonzaga
Norman
St. John's.
Bates, too.
Yeah.
And then the playoffs.
right.
Let's see. How
Norman
about this?
Bates. I can't believe Norman Bates didn't make
Yeah.
the main list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
true.
Norman Bates. I'm glad.
I mean,
glad.
come on,
Greg.
this guy.
We're old, but
Yeah.
Norman
Everyone-
Bates is really, really, really old.
Oh God, that's such.
Anyone watch 28 Days Later? I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I mean, Killian Murphy's amazing. How about
He lost. He emaciated
Anybody-
himself. All right, no, right here. So here's
So
the deal.
I
Carol
have-
Ann Freeling. The
I
reason
have-
why I put her on there, T-Strack can back me up on this. This little girl was the same age and the same exact hair, the same exact eyes, the same exact person as my little sister Jamie.
Yes.
They looked exactly identical, and my sister
Yes.
Jamie was up to no good. And
Now-
I'm telling you, I was horrified every night. She,
As scary as that was, my scariest character from this movie,
her mom, her aunt,
Tangina.
the
Oh,
tiny
yeah.
little
The
lady.
little tiny little
oh
lady.
God, she's the creepiest character ever.
the tiny little lady.
I have them both
she
written
was
down
creepy.
under my
This house
poltergeist.
is clean.
She was
They're
terrifying.
coming.
Anybody?
Sigourney Weaver as
The
Ripley.
Blob.
in
I thought
Alien.
about it. I thought about the Blob.
By the way,
I
got you
love
covered.
the character. Of
Yeah,
Sigourney.
yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Definitely.
When the alien came, when she was wiggling around in her stomach.
Yep.
By the way,
She was a badass in this too. And by the way, gorgeous.
I really wrestled with whether or not to do the underwear scene picture. I
By the
decided
way,
that we could
how
handle
much
it.
wrestling did you do with it, Ken? Be honest. You got a
wrestled.
whole
I
bunch of friends
wrestled.
here. You wrestled
It
with
was-
McNamara. You wrestled on the car ride home tonight.
I'm
You
the only
wrestled right
wrestler in
before
this room right now.
TV.
I'm the only
Stop
wrestler
wrestling.
in this room.
Stop wrestling.
How about this guy
More like pocket
for a
wrestling.
modern franchise?
Yeah, agreed.
Ghostface.
Agreed.
gotta do,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
How about if you're a fan of Fright Night, you got to be a fan of Lost Boys.
Lost Boys was on the board.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
But I thought there were other
was a
good.
great movie.
Sam Emerson, also Corey Haim, Michael, his brother Michael Emerson, played by Jason Patrick, Edgar Frog, Corey Feldman, and the dad or the guy that tried to become the boyfriend that was actually the head of all of it. Max, who was Edward Herman. I mean, I love
J
that
Dubs, we
movie.
had you. We put Damien Thorne from The Omen is on our.
I got
thing.
one more, and
What do you got?
I don't remember. I think it's Evil Dead, but there's so many like
have
Night of the
Evil
Dead,
Dead.
Dead of the
Yeah,
Dead, blah,
I
blah,
know,
blah. But Ash, the dude,
Yeah,
Ash,
yeah,
the
I didn't
dark-haired
really watch
dude.
that.
So John Tier and I
don't do
have
any of the
spent
dead
like one
stuff.
night doing this.
Zombie
and
things.
Me neither. But there was one scene there. He's walking up the basement steps, and he gets his Achilles grabbed from the ghoul goes through the steps, grabs the Achilles. I do not walk up basement steps the same way.
No.
I've been affected by everything that happened tonight, and if I'm not okay by next Tuesday, someone check on me.
Any Midsummer guys out there? Again, there was some people on the board talking about Ari Aster. He's the guy who is one of the big horror movie directors of our time.
Can't believe Candyman didn't get brought up.
You know
Never
what?
saw it.
Me neither.
Yeah, I saw some.
How about this one? Did you
Just
guys
an
see
iconic-
this
I don't
movie?
know.
Oh God!
Now
I know it.
that's
It's,
Toni Collette, and it
she's
is
Nurse
ranked.
Jackie. No,
No, this is made. This is considered on many lists to be among the top 2 or 3
Quiet Place?
most scary movies of all time. And I watched it, and I will concur. For me, it's top 2.
What is it?
Hereditary.
something Terra, something of Terra. Is what she was in.
Well, so she.
It's not Nurse Jackie. It's something of Terra. She is a bipolar. She's a great actress.
She's a great
Yes.
actress. She's a great actress.
Yes.
And Kevin, she is made for I think she's also beautiful, but she is weird looking, and she pulls off these crazy characters.
Her character in Terra is bipolar, and the husband sticks with her, and she goes on like these 29-day rants, and she's someone else. She's like a high school cheerleader, even though she's so good at it. It's something about Terra, I don't know, but she's a
EO.
badass, and she's horrifying.
EO says I like Midsummer better. The reason we said that Ari Aster did both these movies, and he
I haven't seen Midsummer either.
you should watch it. I did not think he says Hereditary was overrated. I disagree. I think it was legitimately scary. But let me ask you this, EO. Where does it
what's her
rank
name?
against The Witch? Toni Collette. She's a crazy actress. She's a great actress. She's been in other stuff besides horror movies, but she has like the build for it. Let me give you guys this one. What about this? This probably doesn't mean anything to you. If I put that picture on the screen, it's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful picture, but it is from.
Is this going to be like something from underneath
It
your
looks like
blanket?
two clouds 69ing each other.
Oh, geez.
It is-
Oh, United States of Terror. I tried
Yes.
to save tea after the two clouds were. Well, never mind. Let me look at
Yes.
this real quick.
So this is a thing, and I'm going to give you a
It is.
different.
It is 269 clouds.
It is cloud
amazing.
69ing.
They seem to be having a great time.
I tend to look at the sky and think of what clouds look like.
Also-
that little puff cloud.
Manifested,
I saw.
also manifested as this.
Oh yeah.
The nothing.
Nice.
Never-ending story. Very
I
scary.
love Neverending Story.
I have this.
Going back to Get Out, how about Rose Armitage? That was the scariest part when she turned and you found out that she was a part of the whole thing.
What is
The wife?
I didn't
Village
see
of the
it.
Damned.
Oh,
I was going to say, what's
been
so
made up a
scary
couple
about
different times.
25 good-looking white kids with blonde hair?
Because they were.
Well, I know
village of the
exactly
Damned.
what's so terrifying about
It's,
it.
yeah, it's just super terrifying. The most terrifying thing ever. All right, here's and let's see.
Did anybody have
we had a
Quint from
Pinhead.
Jaws?
No.
So I have it right here, Chief Brody and Quint. But after Ken went freaking Willy Wonka,
Yeah.
I knew not to say it. And that's the only thing I have left written on my sheet. But that's as scary a movie as I've ever seen.
What's
That's
the
all
most
the-
recent
that's
horror
all the
movie
ones I
you've ever
have.
seen?
Can't even tell you.
I saw
Hereditary.
Megan. I watched it with my daughter. I thought I was going to hate it. It was actually pretty damn good.
I don't know it.
Stop.
And a little bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, there'll be like 10,000 more of them.
My kids hate jump scares. They can watch anything else, but jump scares, they
They
I
with
was
the psychological
impressed.
horrors.
Yeah.
I
They
went,
sound-
in,
to the
I went in
land.
with
I
zero.
agree.
But they
I
have
went in with
jumps.
zero like expectation that it was going to be good, and I came out went. That was a pretty damn good movie.
Or about how about this? You get one answer, and anyone on the board who answers before we sign off gets a shot at this.
I know it's going to be.
Number one horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
Call it.
I mean,
For you.
I've always said
Don't
Halloween.
give me the.
I've always
I've
said
always said
Halloween.
Halloween.
I'm going Halloween. I only said Silver Bullet in my head and Silence of the Lambs are the two that popped up, but it's Halloween for me, and I'm sticking with it. The camera angles, the score, and the idea of just
Okay,
nothingness.
You get Halloween. What do you got?
I can't have Halloween.
You can have
No,
Halloween.
T gets Halloween. T
I
should
mean,
have
I've always
Halloween.
said it was Halloween.
No,
and
T
that
should
was
get Halloween. So I will go
All right, you
with.
get Halloween.
I'm gonna go with Silence of the Lambs. It really
Yeah.
got me.
Oh, you guys are just acing me out of everything here. I understand that.
Sorry, I don't know how to ace someone out of
Greatest.
anything. I know this.
Greg Martin says the original Halloween. Everyone says the original. Is Halloween really the greatest horror movie of all time? That's actually pretty great.
It's kind of like
That's great. It is.
think- I
By the
think
way,
it has
it's a
that
great
moniker.
movie.
I no, but I
if
feel
it was
that
made
way.
today the way it's done, then no. But,
Yeah, but-
I mean, back in the day when it was done, it was the first. It was the first of all horror movies that kicked off the whole horror genre.
But also, it had the babysitters weren't just making out. Like I think they were straight
Yeah,
boning.
they
like,
were.
It was
Yeah.
bad. Like
Straight
we tried to
up.
watch with the kids, and we were like,
Smoking weed,
"Oh boy,
smoking weed, drinking beer,
Right.
and boning
They were
in
like,
the-
yeah.
while the parents were
it's
away.
Friday. Mom and Dad are out doing all that at someone else's house. We'll do this
Yep.
here." Like it was understood, and that
I'm going.
was a
So
lot.
Greg said Halloween. EO said Exorcist. Ken Harris said
I would say
Exorcist.
Halloween.
I'm going Hereditary.
Oh, Exorcist. Honestly, I see why
I
people
once
say it, too.
laughed all the
That
way
has to
through
be put in there.
Exorcist, though. It was weird.
And I get it. And like some things don't make sense historically, but
Do me a favor.
at the time,
if
Wow.
if the opportunity arises, which I know it may very well not, after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock
Just did.
at night, if something is arising to my left. Watch Hereditary, at late at night, and tell me what you think. Ari Aster gets after it. I think it's a great movie. I know EO says it's overrated. By the way, Midsummer. Both of those movies are by the same guy. That you did Chris Washington, I did Adelaide. We talked about Jordan Peele. Like these movies are great because of the guys who make them. Jordan Peele's great. Ari Aster's great. By the way, he also did a movie called The Witch. If anyone's seen it, I am out on The Witch. The Witch, by the way, is considered one of the all-time great horror movies. None of us talked about it. It's not on our list, but he did those 3 movies, and they're pretty crazy and sick. Let's see.
You know, I wanted to say though too about Scream.
I got one more guy.
Best
by the
characters. Can't do it without Dewey.
No,
Come on, dude.
Arquette, David Arquette.
Come
Yes.
on, man.
All right, fair enough.
no Nev Campbell,
Let me
just
get
straight up
Let me
David
get Pinhead
Arquette.
off. I
she's
forgot.
hot
I had
and all,
one more guy. and where is he at?
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. It's going to be the guy from that says, "The plane."
No, it's this guy right here. Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. No, did you ever watch it?
I did.
It's
been
weird.
a long time.
It's been a
man.
weird
It has
movie.
been a long
The
time.
reason why I love this picture is because one of my all-time. I'm a huge Huey Lewis and the News fan, and they play such a random part in this movie. And
I'm not a big Huey Lewis in the News fan.
I know.
It's not hip to be square.
I've been
Come
wanting
on,
to go
Ken.
back and see American Werewolf in London. It's been,
Sometimes bad means bad.
Fair.
maybe I should go back and look at this one.
It's I'm a Christian Bale guy, but at the same time, American Psycho again, movie based on a novel. So whatever. I don't know. If you get a good actor to play a great
Well,
character,
you're such a literary.
and you love seeing Martha
expert.
come in there, don't
If
you?
the T-Mom keeps sitting on my helmet,
Yes. You know what? I'm gonna get her off. I'm gonna get her off of your head. That sounds weird.
I've been on a lot of football teams, but
Hey, listen.
this has never happened before.
Appreciate everyone sticking with us on a lengthy Tuesday night. Here it is, 11:45, and you're
I
still
gotta go
hanging out
home
with
and go
us.
to bed.
It's 11:15. Holy
It's
shit
just
balls.
that's Eastern. That's
should
Eastern.
we wait till midnight next week?
I know, right?
We do have the actual Halloween coming up. We'll talk about some. We didn't get a draft idea,
Costumes next week, guys.
so that means I get to pick.
Costume week.
How about greatest
that what
costumes
you-
you've ever
Wait,
worn?
next week we have
Everyone
That's
on the
2
board.
weeks.
All right,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So wait, what's tonight?
Oh,
What's
wait,
today?
next week's the 20. Yeah.
What? I don't even know what
Guys,
that is.
there's
Are
a
we
machine.
here?
Today's
Actually,
the 17th.
We got to talk about that. We can't. Do
Is it
the
on
show.
Halloween?
It's on.
We're on Halloween. How
fine.
do we
I
get
have
to
to
the
do
end
my-
of a show?
I
We're
have to-
talking about it. Okay, yeah,
In
of
I'm gonna
course.
Texas,
have-
trick or treating ends when
yeah.
it's dark.
No, not really.
Wait, you
Well,
can't be here.
It
on
does
that
for
night?
us.
Well, I got to deal with kids and stuff.
What do you mean
gotta-
deal with kids? Are you like turning the
It's a
hose on
Tuesday.
two peers?
4-year-old. Man.
Get off of my lawn,
true,
you son of a
true.
bitch!
I'm dressing up.
What are you dressing up as?
Well, I haven't really thought about that
We
yet.
need to dress up for the show. That's what you're saying?
Yes. I think we're dressing up for the show in some way, shape, or form.
Are
And
we
by the
definitely
way,
doing the show?
all you can see is the top part of us. So don't, you know what I mean? Like, so
Ken,
it's like,
why did you? I know I've been
Just
getting.
saying.
We've
Just
all
saying.
got, we all could
saying.
use a little toning.
Voltron forces.
No, you've been doing that.
I know, and then this and that and
then the we were.
all right. So everyone, we're all dressing up for the show. Everyone is on the board. You're dressing up too.
Send your picks.
Waist up.
Send your picks on
See
the
what
board.
you got. That's all we
Can
got.
you send picks on the board?
I don't know. That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't even know how to turn the sound off properly. For various parts of the show. So don't ask me. I'm not.
But you do know how to turn it on.
I do know how to turn it on. Smithers, you turn me on.
United States of Terror, Tony Collette. Watch it. Bonkers.
Appreciate you guys. You guys really hung out a
That was
long
awesome.
time tonight.
Yeah, I know. Happy birthday.
You love us long time.
Boy, that's
Number 39.
what I would do for.
Let's go.
To be 39.
Redskins over Giants. Let's get this. Let's get back to
yeah.
winning our
Hell
winning
yes.
ways. Let's knock down an NFC East opponent. Let's do it. We'll be back next Tuesday night to talk about how it was done. He's Tim Strachan.
Can't wait to do it, fellas.
He's Kevin Ricka.
Tiffany Valentine, sorry, forgot to say it. Jennifer Tilly, blah, blah, blah. I think I said a little. That was a fun ass show. Thank you guys. Ken Harris, look forward to being in your stomping grounds.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And that fact that you can watch us
We
there
got
is
you.
just
Feel better.
poetic
We
justice
got you.
for the
Get
one
better.
guy on earth that we would like to see
got
at
you.
McNamara.
The whole
we
reason
get
why
to be there.
everything that led to us
Not the
being
one,
here on Saturday
the number one
is because of this hip replacement surgery.
Exactly.
I believe that.
I do, too.
That's
100%.
That's the way we were raised. We believe that there's a
And
reason
now I
for
know
that
where the
shit.
Ken's Bar signs come from.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Ken's Bar.
And by the way, if someone puts a golden ticket in your chocolate bar, just take a beat and just remember, you might not come back from that alive. Okay, just
They
eat
all survive.
just eat the bar and move on with your life. It's honest. It's not.
one.
I'm just honest. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
20% survival rate. 20%.
Attaboy, Charlie. Attaboy.
You did it.
They were killed.
Well, I mean, they had a
They
different.
weren't killed. They were just taken off the tour and kicked out.
No, they were not.
They were killed.
Augustus was barely fitting up that chocolate
They
fountain.
were killed.
They weren't killed.
Death by chocolate. Do you know where that quote
The whole
came from?
Not
Willy Wonka.
He's
oh
a
yes,
freaking monster,
Death by
dude.
chocolate. It's the name of bands.
Just look at what I'm trying to say. This is a good message, and something we should pay attention to. If a dude is making chocolate bars in a factory,
And next week, I'm just going to say it before we get off.
please.
We're going to go with last week's guest, Greg's awful offer. Worst Halloween candy.
Yes, worst Halloween candy is next week. Worst,
Right?
Worst.
It should
the
be,
thing
right?
you are the least
Yeah.
excited about getting in your bag of
Show your
candy.
work. We're going to need explanations why.
I'm gonna have a lot of pictures, a lot of graphical.
I think that's a good one. And T said it last week, and I said, let's do the characters and then the candy. And he said, let's do the candy the night. But I don't know if we can do something that night.
On Halloween night. Oh, we're here. We're live.
I'm here live.
That.
I'm
We
here
have to
live.
Talk about that in green.
All right, well,
room.
T's
figure it out. We'll
nervous.
figure it out.
I'm here live.
Green room's about to be.
Because
green.
I'm getting dressed up and I'm going to do the. Never mind. Let's go. Sorry.
We'll see you guys in 7
Thank
days.
you guys. You
Maybe
guys
a
are the
9 o'clock
freaking
start.
best.
We have some awesome stuff planned for you guys for the next couple months of the season. A few surprises, a few twists and turns. No jump scares. No one's getting stretched out in a
And no
in a-
sketches
in a-
of
in a shot.
boners at all.
No
None.
boner
Zero.
sketches. No.
Never again.
No boner
Promise.
killers. Only boner
I
and
think,
liveners.
you shot the wad tonight
I did.
on
Whoa,
boner on
whoa.
boner
I did.
on boner signs.
That's
I
usually
did. But it was apparently it was an excellent
true.
ingredient for the muff cake. So I hope you guys
the
enjoyed
muff
it.
cake was awesome. I'll tell you,
We'll see you in
it was
7
so
days.
necessary at the time.
We are still
so good.
That was
live.
That was 10 seconds too much 100% of the time.
Always.
And I enjoyed it. But typically
Always.
T calls us out for it. And tonight he kind of was part of the. It was 10 seconds. too
live
much.
cereal. Everyone, okay. E.O. Anderson once Zelda from Pet Cemetery mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with
No,
Zelda
Pet
from Cemetery
was-
at all.
Ho, 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 ho.
The book was 10 times scarier than the movie, but the movie pulled it off. I mean, it's a scary ass movie, but it tugs at your heartstrings in so many random ways.
I know.
It's
I
the
know. It's
worst.
so sad.
Did you ever read the book?
No.
It's the worst.
Shit,
It's-
no.
I usually don't read the book if there's a movie.
I read the book first I'm a Stephen King fanatic, and the book is terrible. When you read that chapter, when that thing happens, when the worst possible thing happens, and you're reading it, and you're like, no way this actually happened.
My parents read every possible the second it came, it was done. They were junkies. In fact, they would buy the same paperback copy the day
Yes.
it came out of the same book because
Yes.
they couldn't wait for each other.
Yes, that's
And
awesome.
I know.
And by the way, that book was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And the movie, they did multiple movies of it, and it's hard to do. The idea was just unbelievable crazy. but
don't want to be buried. Who was it?
Alice Cooper.
It was, wasn't it?
I
In
don't
a
know.
pet cemetery. There was they wrote the
It feels
don't
like
remember
Alice
it?
Cooper. It feels like I don't know
feels
the
like
answer.
Bobby Brown at halftime at the Atlanta Falcons Redskins
Why
game
didn't
this
that?
weekend.
That should have been. We should have gotten that freaking live.
Pet Cemetery
So
felt
pissed
to me
about
like
that.
it was jumping the shark of horror flicks.
Everybody's
No, when
talking
dead pets were
all
returned.
this stuff about me. Why don't they just let me live? Tell me why. All it needs is fiction. Made my life decision. That's my prerogative. It's my prerogative. We out.
Do what I want.